paid $75 for a fucking like AI thing that like helps fix it, and it did, but it took like 2 weeks to process it. It was a whole ordeal. But
oh shit.
I just did it because I wanted to be able to like that's why I had to do a promo for that brewery, because like if I didn't, I couldn't clip out the podcast. So like sometimes it's not that I want to do a promo, it's that I literally have to because I fucked up.
Dude, I give you props. I was literally talking to him about this the other day, that you have I think it's from what I did research, right? I think you have eight different sponsors. Do you have more than that?
It's gone from like 8 to 12 at some point.
8 to 12?
Yeah, it just varies because sometimes people will do just like a monthly one, like 1 month or whatever. But like I have like a solid like I would say 7 to 8 sponsors that are like my boys or my boys in different ways because they're girls.
Dude, because I was thinking about that like when I was doing like my research. I was like, every like 20 minutes.
Sometimes it's annoying,
dude. It's like
I feel bad for the listeners sometimes. I'm like, dude, I'm sorry, you guys. And you would think like, oh, this guy's like making money. It's just enough to cover rent basically of our studio, which like breaks even. It's fine, you know what I mean? It's like the podcast is my passion. Are we going?
Yeah, no, we're live. I try to do it just naturally.
Okay, no, that's why I do it too. Yeah, I just didn't know. But yeah, later, dog.
Are those live too? Yeah. Okay, so anyways.
What were we saying?
Just for editing. I know that's hella late, but
hella late in our conversation.
You were talking about sponsors and rent.
Oh yeah. So it's just enough to cover rent. But at the end of the day, it's like podcast is like my passion project. It's like I never expected it to get to what it is, so everything else is a cherry on top. Like I'm just rolling with it. Yeah,
you said it was a passion project, right? But at this point, would you consider it like the career now? Like,
it's part of my career. I would say it's part of like who I am, I guess, in a way. Like a lot of people know me from the podcast, from Central Valley Podcast, but it also helps generate work for me because I do videography full time.
Yeah.
So that it kind of is like hand in hand with it. So. But it's different at the same time. But yeah, I mean, it is part of my career, but sometimes it takes up a little too much of my time. Like all those, like you see how many promos and stuff I do that like are completely different days, or they're literally just like, sometimes a promo takes me like 6 hours to edit when it's like an annoying one that's not annoying, but like, it's like I'll edit it one version and then I'll watch it. I'm like, it's not there yet. And then I'll edit another version. Okay. It's not there yet. And like, then I'll send it to him, like Duffy, who does a podcast with me and my wife. And they're like, oh, I'll try to do this, do that. And so it's a lot of tinkering with stuff to see how it works.
Does Duffy still do all like the audio and stuff?
Yeah. So he does all the audio, which like, I think a lot of people overlook in podcasts is like how the audio sounds, but it's like, hey, like it's funny because I spent so much time editing the video of the podcast. Yeah. And 90% of people listen. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, dude, like a lot of people like just listen to podcasts. Like majority of people on my podcast listen versus do they watch.
No shit.
But at the same time, promos.
Okay.
So my promos are like bring a lot of views in as well. So that's why it's like I care so much about videos, because it's the better promos you have, the better draw people in and stuff.
I barely put on my first episode, and I'm still trying to figure that out, like how to put it on to
like
Spotify?
Just like a distributor?
Yeah.
Dude, there's this one, I don't know what it's called, but I'm going to transfer over all my stuff to it, and you can add video, so your video will be on Spotify. And your video will be on YouTube.
Because I tried it through the Spotify podcasters for Spotify.
Yeah. I don't know. So mine, I do everything through Buzzsprout. So I upload, and so there's a whole bunch of different hosting sites.
Yeah.
And basically you upload it there, and then it adds to Spotify, iTunes, everything else.
Oh, shit.
So they're distributors.
People still on iTunes, bro?
No, not iTunes.
Apple Music?
Yeah, Apple Music. Oh, no, it's Apple Podcasts.
Oh, shit.
You know what I mean?
Okay,
yeah. So because it's like, and then but it's weird. It only tracks your stuff via downloads.
Yeah,
you notice that? So it's
annoying.
So I don't know how many people are fucking playing my podcast. You know, so when people with sponsors ask me, I'm always like, anywhere from 500 people are listening to 2,000 people are listening. I can't really tell you. You know what I mean? So it's like one of those things.
Because for me, I tell people when they're like, "Oh, I want to listen to it on like my way to work or whatever," I'm like, "Bro, just throw up YouTube and just throw it."
Yeah,
right
but
there.
sometimes it's like the convenience of people. Like if they always listen to their podcast on Spotify, or if they always listen to it on Apple Podcasts, it's like they want to listen to it on wherever. It's technically convenient for them, not necessarily when you're like,
for us.
But like you wouldn't be like, you'd be surprised. Like it's like you post like I have like, let's say X amount of followers, like 15,000 or something.
Yeah.
And like I post a link, it's like maybe 50 people are going to click that link. You know what I mean?
Which
and
is
then
surprising,
right?
right?
And then it doesn't even open up YouTube. That's the thing. It opens up like YouTube on Instagram. And then it's like, if people want to subscribe to your channel, you'll click subscribe and it'll be like, do you want to log in? And it's like all these.
It's
like,
all these extra steps.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why there's this new thing. It's like if you put in your YouTube link to it and it transfers it, so when you post it onto your Instagram story, it opens up the YouTube app and not open up.
Okay.
But like, there's like, I don't know, dude. There's a million things.
I feel like it depends, because I feel like majority of the time when I've posted a link, it just takes it directly to to YouTube.
Sometimes
I feel like it's a hit or miss though.
Yeah. So, but it could be because I don't know exactly, honestly.
I see. Hey, side note, like this little Easter egg, right? Is that the same hat that you've always been rocking? That Central Valley?
No,
hat?
No, it's not. Yeah, no. This is like my buddy gave it to me. Rocco, shout out to you, Rocco. And he was just like, "Hey, dude, I bought this hat." He was like, "I love it, but I think it's better for you." And he just gave it to me. No, so I have like this other hat with the pine and the palm tree on it.
Yeah.
Those are my hats.
No. Okay, my bad. Let me specify better. So in like, I'd say about a year ago ish, or I'm not sure when it was, but you had a solo pod, right? And then I think that's the hat you were...
Oh, that was more recent, though. That was like 2-3 months ago.
Was it?
Yeah. Well, it was a solo episode where I'm like, shout out to women for giving birth. And,
Yeah.
And like that shit. Yeah,
Okay.
that was like, like maybe 2-3 months ago.
Oh, bro, bear with me, because my timelines are going to be so, like, cheeks, because, like, I watch, like, some of the beginning of your videos, then some of, like, the newer ones.
In the middle.
Yeah, I have, like, because I have 2 monitors, right? So I have, like, one with the notes.
Fucking overwhelmingly amount of me, man.
Micah. Wait, okay, really quick.
Yeah.
But before we get going, welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Epiphany Podcast. What happened?
You're too far back. Stop leaning back, dude.
Damn, bro. Jesus.
There's too much space in the background.
Oh.
Redo it.
Nah, we're going to keep that shit in, bro. Fuck it. We love authenticity. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Epiphany Podcast. Today's guest is none other than Micah Diele. He is a videographer and photographer, as well as podcast host of the Central Valley Podcast in Merced. Welcome, Micah.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Quite the intro.
Fuck, man.
You said my last name right, which means you actually did some research.
You want to know what's funny? Okay, I'm gonna show you.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know on the dictionary, you know how it has like the name
D dash or whatever. Yeah. What do you have it?
D-A.
Yeah, that's funny. So whenever I used to be a substitute teacher for high school, and so I would do the letter D, and then dash the letter A, and then dash the letter L-E-E. Just D-A-Lee, just because kids are stupid. But
how was that?
Oh, I honestly really enjoyed subbing. It was chill. I mean, I was the chillest sub in the world. So I would.
You seem like you would be.
I would just go into class and be like, "What's up? I'm Mr. Diele. Your assignment's on the board. It's all on Chromebook. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm gonna work on my own projects." I was like, and at the very least, I just needed everybody to pretend to be working. That's all. That's all I want. And so kids are like, "Oh, I could pretend. I could do that." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you just dumb it down from them.
What was the stuff that you were doing on your own? Was it like the photography stuff? Like when you said you're doing your own project.
Oh yeah, exactly. So I was like learning. So in 2019 is like kind of when I picked up a camera, and so I was subbing in 2019, 2020, and 2021. I was subbing. I mean, I subbed since 2016, honestly. So I subbed for like 5 or 6 years, and I wanted to be a teacher, which is why I subbed. And then, for one reason or another, basically, I ended up picking up a camera, and the rest is history, honestly. yeah. But it just wasn't for me. I took the test that to be a teacher twice.
Yeah.
And I was off twice by 1 point. And then I just kind of stopped and I was like, wait, what do I want to do with my life? Is this what I want to do? Or is this what I tell people because it sounds good, it's easier, and no one questions me when I say I'm going to be a teacher? And that's kind of what it was.
I feel you, because I know for me, I was going to college. I was going to college for psychology, right? Because I just like to read. I like psychology. And I was like, I want to be like a psychologist, right? And it's easy. That's like, ooh, you want to be a psychologist. But then I went down to the schooling and shit. And I was like, bro, I'm 10 years, bro.
Dude, yeah, minimum for psychology. It's and you got to work for 2 years for free or some bullshit like that.
And I was like, this is not it, Chief. It is not it. But that's why, when I started, everything, all of this, the pod has happened so fast. You know what I mean? That I'm just still getting my footing with.
Oh,
everything.
dude, you won't.
You know what I mean?
I would say. Well, I tell everybody, for me, it's I recorded 5 episodes before I even, released anything.
Yeah.
But, dude, I didn't like I didn't have a footing on what I was doing until like 30 episodes in, honestly. Like you'll have a better idea, obviously, than the first 5 episodes.
Yeah.
But each time it's kind of like, all right, like let me just think back to what I'm doing. And so that's why I didn't really try to get sponsors or anything. And so you kind of figure out yourself, because you don't want to like. To me, it's like you don't want to get sponsors super early when it's like you still don't even like, you know what I mean? You're still figuring it out. So for me, it was like, all right, let me get like a baseline going of like kind of what I want from this podcast. You know what I mean? So after 10 episodes, you kind of have an idea. 20 episodes, you're like, I think I have a better idea. And then, but it's still like the first, 30 episodes are like a mix between some people you kind of know or social media know, and then your friends. You know what I mean?
I think that's
and then
majority of mine.
once you start getting to 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, like those episodes, it's like, okay, you're really in there with people you don't know.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So it like helps you grow as a person as well.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I feel like, because I know on one of your things you were talking about like being a good person and all these things, right? It's like being in this like limelight, it kind of makes you have to be like a better person. You know what I mean? Because like the bigger you get, the more of a fucking like magnifying glass. Magnifying glass is on you. You know what I mean? Like any good or bad. You know. Yeah,
for sure. And it's like, it's a mix. It's like sometimes you go places, or like for me, it's like when I'm around Merced, people kind of know who I am, but it's like when I'm farther away, it's like whatever. I mean, I don't think every now and then somebody might, but it's like you're saying though, it is like kind of having to be like, oh yeah. But it's interesting to me because like people hire me based on me doing the podcast or video work, and I'm like, have you seen any of my other work? They're like, no. I'm like, bro, you're just hiring me off of my. But it's funny because like the people just hire me based on my personality sometimes, and I'm like, it's so funny.
Hey, I'll fucking take it.
Yeah. Hey, I'll take it any day. Yeah. For me, cussing, fucking being a fool, like you know what I mean?
Being
like
unapologetically Micah.
Yeah, exactly. And and that's the thing too is like. I think growing up, you're always concerned about what like your close friends kind of think of you. Okay. Growing up, that's like just naturally, it's like you have a group of 10 dudes. It's like you care about their opinions. But like the older you get, the more you're like, oh, it's like even if they have their own opinions of what I'm doing, it doesn't fucking matter because like just do what makes you happy at the end of the day. Because I used to care too much about what my friends thought. And your friends are there to, guy friends are there to, one, give you shit and bring you back down to earth. You know what I mean? And two, just, I mean, they just make fun of. I mean, you naturally, any good guy group of friends does that to a certain point. You know?
Yeah,
what I mean?
I know. For me, like, I never really had to deal with that because I've always just been unapologetically me, bro. Like, I'm not finna lie, and I've never really had like a close, tight knit group of friends, anyway. So I was always just like hopping around. Like I knew a little bit of everybody.
Yeah, I got
type shit. You know what I mean? But I do agree, bro. Like I do see where like it kind of gets hard because I was also curious, right? On I think it was like a third or fourth video you were talking about imposter syndrome, which was kind of interesting to me, right? Because
I still have it, bro.
Yeah, that's what I want to talk to you about. Like you made that video
like at the 2 years ago.
Yeah, in the beginning when it was
like I was trying to make YouTube channel videos, right?
Yeah. So wait, so how do you deal with that now? Or do you have?
I still have it. Like I'll be on a gig doing like a commercial work for somebody or something like that. And I'm like, oh man, like they hired me to do this, you know? Yeah. And I mean, it's like I know what to do and I know how to be professional, but it's just like the anxiousness before a gig or the anxiousness before a podcast that I still am like, oh fuck, like I got to carry this conversation or I gotta, you know, it's like that worry and like, dude, I mean, you'll have conversations where you're the one that's like. The thing about podcasts is what I try to like. I begin better at with my guests is getting guests who have stories to tell, and that's what you want. You want guests that want to talk, that can talk, that are good public speakers. And it's funny because I don't think I'm the best public speaker, like with a microphone in my hand. But I can talk and I can keep the conversation going. But I've had guests where I ask them a question, they answer it, and then it just goes quiet. And then it's like, okay, I guess I have to answer this or tell a new question. I've had, dude, I don't know what episode was. This one chick that came on my podcast, and it was just an awkward ass interview, dude. And it was just, but she's super talented with music and stuff. But yeah, it's awkward. I'll tell you after.
Because I know, like for example, right? I'll like when I have like friends come over here, and then they're like, bro, like it seems hella easy, like just talking to people. I'll be like, all right, watch, and I'll put this on. I'll do the same thing, and I'll go. That silence is loud as fuck.
Oh, dude, I would talk about the silence, dude. And like you, as a host, you hear the silence, and you're like, "Fuck, I gotta say something." And sometimes it's only like 1-2 seconds. That's maybe the person thinking or you thinking. Yeah. And you're like dead space. I gotta fucking say something.
Yeah.
But in reality, it's
It's not that.
Yeah, but then you start listening to yourself and you're like, oh, I have all these filler words. I say this over and over again. Like you start dissecting yourself because I say like all the time in my
That was like my
podcast.
first couple episodes. I like my first two. I said like and like
or like little
Yeah.
stuff like that.
my trouble right now. My filler word was not necessarily a filler word, but it was more along the lines of just like shut up, right? Like
Or
for me,
it's like you're trying to tell the guests you're here listening, right? It's
Yeah.
like that. So mine is really.
mine's
Really?
that's dope. It's because I'm listening and I
Yeah,
want you to
yeah.
understand. Like
that
okay,
I'm here
like,
listening for you.
yeah,
Like
but then I'm listening to like when I watch my pod back, I'm like, bro, just shut up, just let them.
that's
just
never
let
gonna
them-
go away. That's never gonna go away. Just to let you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like listening to myself. I'm like, oh my gosh, shut the fuck up, dude. Like they were on a roll saying something and you just interrupted them.
Yeah, and,
you know?
then nobody, George, bro, that's dope, that's crazy. She's like, shut up, like
Yeah,
you're-
but at the end of the day, it's like you'll figure. I mean,
Yeah.
you'll slowly get better at it, and sometimes it's just like you're actually just enjoying the conversation. And so, like I always tell people, it's like I always feel so fortunate that I'm there, that I get to talk to all these people, what inspires them. Because after every podcast I have, I always feel like recharged and be like, oh, like I'm motivated now again.
Okay.
Just with somebody that anybody who's doing something for themselves, but then a lot of people are like, hey man, put me on your podcast. Hey man, put me on your podcast. And sometimes I want to do it and be like, what do you want to talk about? Like, let's go.
Yeah.
Like, this is your podcast. Go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's like sometimes a lot of people they're like, oh, I'm about to start a business, or I just opened up a business, or I just, you know what I mean? I'm like, hey, show me you've been doing something for 2-3 years, and then maybe it's like,
Yeah.
then we can do it. Because it's like, with my podcast, it's like when I first started, it's like, of course I had people who were just starting doing things, but it's like I had so many people hit me up, and like they don't even do what they hit me up for
Yeah.
to come on the podcast for anymore.
Yeah,
you
because I know for me, like, my biggest thing was like, okay, like the guests that I have on, they're already somewhat established, and the whole thing is to provide value for the viewer, right? So it's like, I had a cosmetologist on the other day, right? So she was able to tell me about all of her things from like the front to the back to how she started, everything, right? And that's a girl, another girl, like let's say like some 16-year-old girl wants to get into that. She doesn't know how. That's a guest that's able to tell her from the beginning to the end, all the shit she's went through and everything, right? That's more valuable than another cosmetologist, for example, that just started, that wants to get on the pod. It's like, bro,
yeah, no,
you're
exactly.
still figuring it out.
You know,
bro.
exactly.
No shame, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just like, I'm here to provide value, you know?
And with it's funny because with podcasting, like everybody does it differently. I've been on like 4 or 5 different podcasts. No one does it the same, and it's so
Yeah.
funny to me because you would think there'd be a blueprint for it, but there's so many
I
different.
feel like there's certain certain boxes.
There's certain boxes that like
Right.
you could use the Zoom, you could use the Rodecaster, you could just for the first like 60, 70 episodes, we just used GarageBand on my computer and we just plugged into
shit.
there. Yeah. And we used the audio interface, but
Okay,
then we
okay.
plugged all the mics there and then transferred it to my computer. You know what I mean? So it's like there was all these like you could do the podcast in so many different ways. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But it's the same product at the end.
Yeah.
But then I and in every podcast I go on, I ask them, and everyone's like, "Oh, I just kind of figured it out for myself and what works," which is
Yeah.
probably what you did too, right? You just kind of
Yeah.
you look up online, you look at how these people do it. What do these people do? I want to fucking mix it all up and figure it out for myself.
Because like I know for me, I wanted the Rodecaster for so long, right? And then I seen the Podtrack P8, right? And that's like the big brother of this. And
it's the one that with like 8 tracks, right? Yeah.
So for me, I was like, why am I gonna spend $800 on the Rodecaster when I can get this one, the P8, which is half the price? It's $498.
Yeah.
And I can get 8. I can get 6 people on. It was 6, not
Yeah.
8. Yeah. So I was like, bro, like that's a little better.
When are
And-
you gonna have 6 people on a pod? You know what I mean? You're not gonna have 6
Bro,
people.
I'm
on
gonna
a pod.
have 5 people on next week.
I mean, I don't know how you're gonna do that.
Right?
Yeah, just get 2 of them to share a mic. Honestly.
Yeah, well, the actual one's in my car, right? But I have like the wireless like lab mics,
mic,
so
yeah.
I'm gonna just have 4 of them, and then one guy mic'd up.
Oh, and then you'll just
And then I'll just have
mix
it-
it in like to one of these cameras, and then yeah,
I mean,
it is what it is.
it fucking works.
Yeah.
And I mean, if I really wanted to, I could just have them.
And honestly, just think about like all this time is like I would say just think about your first 20 episodes. Are you just like it's you doing it, but you figuring it out too? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like people think like, dude, podcast is a very slow game. Like for people think my podcast is bigger than it is. People really do, and because my Instagram account it grew very authentically, and that's why I'm very happy about it because it's like organic fan base, you know.
Yeah.
But then it's just like I have a lot of followers there. But like people who listen to the full podcast, it's like I was saying, podcast stats suck. It's like I don't really know. It could be 500. It could be
Yeah.
a few thousand. I really don't know. But at the end of the day, I try not to think about it. You know what I mean? I had like milestones. So for me, it was like, it took me like 2 years to get 10,000 downloads, you know? And that was like, it was a while. Like it was a fucking struggle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then this past year, it's like in our off season, we had, so I'd like to do it in seasons, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And in our off season, we grew more than we ever had prior
Really?
to that. And it's just because like I was posting videos and a couple of them hit. And then they just like hit well, and then
You
like
just don't know what's
algorithms started.
not.
Our algorithm started going.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it'll be the video that you don't try anything on that like does well, and then I'll spend fucking 6 hours editing something, and it does ass.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. It's a blessing and a curse, right? That I have a team so early already. That it's like
You have way more people than me, man.
dude, and that's okay. That's another reason.
I was telling them that it's very Nelk Boy ish. You know the Nelk
no
Boys.
shit, really?
Well, just like the BTS of it. You know what I mean? Like
okay.
how it's like, oh, people coming in and it's like you guys before, like saying what's up, hanging out. It's
Yeah.
like you have that footage, which is like kind of reminds me of their podcast.
That's what I want. That's what I want to do, right? Because, like, for example, you've already been doing this, so it's not a big deal when you have a camera in your face, the lights, the hand. It's like whatever, right?
Yeah.
But for some people, if I just start off with the intro, welcome back, everyone. Everyone's like, oh, the guest is like, oh shit, okay, let me get ready.
Yeah, that's why I didn't. I used to do that, play the actual theme song and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I stopped doing it just because, like you're saying, guests kind of get all weird and awkward, and that's why you just kind of fucking steamroll it.
Yeah, like
in,
I don't even
right?
like I don't even tell people I press it. It's just bah. I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like, okay.
yeah, exactly.
You know?
And sometimes it works better that way too.
Because eventually, when I do get better cameras that can record for longer, when I get here and everyone else gets here, I want to just press record and then maybe have like a small internal, like we're just shooting the shit, got my editors, and then when they come in, it's authentic. It's like, what's up? It's like, nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Type shit. You know what I mean?
That's like yeah, because dude, I had the same problem with my cameras when I first started. I would be like I'd be like have a timer on my phone, it would go off. I'd be
that
like,
30 minutes.
stop real quick. hold that thought, and then
wait.
do it and like go ahead, continue. You know what I mean? And it is what, dude. It just like, and then I bought my new camera, which is like, I just lucked out because the newest version of the Canon camera that I use has no recording limit, and so it's perfect for me.
What is it?
It's a Canon R6 Mark II.
Sick.
And so it's not like, I mean, it'd be overkill for a podcast if that's the only thing you use it for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But for me, it's like I use it for all my video work and everything else. So that's
Yeah.
kind of why. And then like the R6 is overheating and everything, and then the Mark II version of it doesn't overheat.
So you're a Canon guy.
Yeah, but like I'm not as like some people are like a ride or die Canon, Sony, like Gabe over here, fucking Sony gang. But
But he's gonna like that. Okay, so before I met him, I got the Canon M50, right? And that was just for vlogging.
I had that for a little while.
Really?
Yeah. That was just for like a secondary camera. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I know mine was originally for vlogging, right? Because when I started in 2020, I wanted to just be a vlogger, right, with my friends. That's when I had like a friend group, and then after a while, I was like, this is like this space is so saturated, and I was
it's
like,
not like what it used to be like in 2000,
like 16
or whatever. I mean, yeah,
Oh,
like
shit.
I started like, well, I'm thinking like 2008 was like the beginning of Casey Neistat, like.
I hear about that person, but I don't know who that is.
So he's like a guy who basically just got big on YouTube by vlogging, and like he did daily vlogs for like 700 days. And so his audience just grew and grew and grew. But his style of it is like a very good style for vlog, where it's like, his style of vlog is almost like everybody else's YouTube videos. But like he was just so good about doing it daily and getting it out there.
Because my thing was like, I've followed so many different like vloggers, because that's what I grew up on, that it's like I see the rise and the fall of them, and it's just so toxic. Like vlogging gets toxic.
I mean, think about the Paul brothers. I mean, that's where they started.
Yeah,
like I
bro.
mean, it was YouTube videos, but you know what I mean. Like,
yeah, because it's like your life's not always interesting, bro. Like,
oh, dude, fuck! People think I'm way more funny and shit than I am, dude. Don't get me wrong, I'm a good time, but like, it is like putting on a character sometimes. Not for the podcast. Like I'm like you're saying, I'm unapologetically me on the podcast, but like for the promos and stuff, it'd be like, did you get that? Like, you know what I mean? Like it just like you just kind of got to put on a character for the the promo or whatever it is. Like the shit Central Valley people say video. Have you seen that? You've probably seen it. It's
Which
like
one?
me and Duffy, and we're going around, and it's just like shit Central Valley people say. So it'd be like, oh, it smells like shit, it smells like jizz, like
the hella,
the hella, yeah. All those ones. So it's like for that video, it's so funny because like on the it'd be like Like I'm like it would just be like me with the camera. I'm like do it again, like do it again, like you know what I mean. Like, it's not like, but we edit it till it's like bam, 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 bam.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So it's just like funny though.
Because like I know for me, I feel like I've always had to put on a character because how I acquired my following was on Snapchat. I'm like Snapchat.
Snapchat's still big with like high schoolers though. Like
you'd be surprised, bro. You'd be surprised.
No, I know it's popular with other people. To me, it was popular when I was like 18 to 23. But then Instagram stories came out and everybody kind of shifted. And at least at my age.
Yeah.
But like my nephew and stuff, they're all on Snapchat.
Because I know even Bradley Martin talks about it on his pod all the time. That he's like, dude, Snapchat is a godsend. Like people be using that shit so much, but like
it's like a different type of way to reach your audience though too.
It's more real.
It's more like your daily life versus like Instagram
high production.
Yeah,
value.
well Instagram's like not high production, but I mean Instagram can be daily. But stories, I mean Snapchat is Instagram stories solely, basically.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
okay,
That's what it is.
okay.
Yeah.
Because I also look at Instagram as like your resume now.
Yeah, for sure is. And that's why I like when having guests and stuff like it, like that's why I'm slowly built up my fucking page to be what it is. But it's also funny because like now in hindsight I feel weird not weird, but I feel like I can't post all my video stuff on my Central Valley podcast page.
Like in terms of what?
In terms of like my client work and stuff. Like it's like a whole separate thing, and it is, now, because now it's like I built the podcast up so much that like if I go like, hey, cool, check out this dope picture I took, it doesn't fit into the. You know what I mean? And so that's the only thing I don't like about it is that I'd rather have it all be kind of one thing. Personally,
and you have another page.
Yeah, it's Central Valley Production, so CVP though. I just kept that. Like I wanted to just keep CVP because like I like the logo. Everything looks good on it. Whatever the fuck ever. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Because I know like. Okay, so in terms of like the character, right? That's why I was always vlogging. I was vlogging on Snapchat though, right? I started doing like I called it shout out Cart Chronicles for the gang. Cart Chronicles, where it's like Cart Narcs. It was like my spinoff on Cart Narcs, but instead of doing like going up to people, I worked at a grocery store and I was the cart guy. So what I would do, and I was in the parking lot for 8 hours, I would just talk shit about the people that would leave their carts.
That's funny because I did a solo episode. On my solo episode, I was like, if you don't walk your shopping cart back to the fucking, at least to the cart area, I was like, you're a piece of shit and no one likes you. That's what I said in my solo episode. I was like, I fucking hate you guys. Yeah.
Bro, it was a fucking nuisance. It makes my job so much harder. And then it would be funny because people would like to see who the person that was in the car or what was, right? And then I'd be talking shit. I'm like, bro, who is this chick? Blah, blah, blah. And then the person gets out and it's like an old lady. And I'm shitting on the old lady. And then people were like, George, no, but I didn't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, so.
That's kind of what it started as?
Yeah, that's what it started as. And then me and my friends started throwing hella parties, right? And then people share. And then I was always in the Bay. So network. And then it blew up like just crazily. And then that's where I... Bringing it back
that was
to
like your little niche at that time.
At that time, right? But bringing it back to like the imposter syndrome thing, I had like crazy imposter syndrome when I first started this because I had a following, right? But my Instagram didn't do it justice because the following was acquired on Snapchat, right? But then when I'd post, I'd be like, oh, I just posted a picture, and I'd put my Instagram. So then slowly, people would like get up, and then I was like, people would ask me like, oh, what do you do? And I'd be like, fuck, I'm a vlogger.
Yeah.
Like, oh, what's your YouTube? I'm like, no, on Snapchat. And they're like, on Snapchat? Because like that's not really like a thing.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know what I mean?
It's like, it like I know what you're saying. Like it is kind of vlogging, I guess in this scenario. You are vlogging.
Yeah.
But also you're not vlogging in the traditional sense of vlogging.
Yeah.
And so it's like, yeah, like it's already hard if you have to explain it. You know what I mean? Like if you have to explain it, it's already hard. And so it's like you need to make it so simple. And that's why like my podcast name used to be Real Talk and Whatnot, which I think is a great name for a podcast. But you're like, what the fuck is that? I don't know what that is. But if I have a podcast named Central Valley Podcast, what is it? It's a podcast about the Central Valley. All right. It's everything. Yeah, it's right there. You know. Yeah, I don't have to explain anything.
Yeah, I was curious because for the first 46 episodes,
it was real talk and whatnot.
Yeah, but then from 46 to 63rd, right?
Yeah.
It was Real Talk or Whatnot presents, and then
it's Central Valley Podcast. Yeah.
So when after the 63rd episode, that's when you dropped it. Yeah. Central Valley. What was?
It was just like basically what I was saying. It's just that like it was just like I had a joke in the beginning. I was like, oh, it's Real Talk and Whatnot, a Central Valley podcast. It was like the longest podcast name ever. And then it was just I needed to. I felt like it was just confusing having that long of a name. You know what I mean?
Real Talk or Whatnot.
Yeah, it was like Real Talk Studios and stuff like that. And then I just made the executive decision that like Central Valley. I had the Central Valley Podcast handle on Instagram. And that's kind of what sparked everything else to transfer over to it. And it was just a rebranding to be easier for people to know what it is. And that's as plain and simple as it was. That's why instead of being Real Talk and Whatnot, Central Valley Podcast, cut that all out. Just do Central Valley Podcast. It's straight, simple, to the point. It's not just Merced. It's not just Modesto. It's not just Fresno, Los Banos. It's everything. I mean, I claim the Central Valley's Bakersfield to like Sacramento area. And Sacramento,
Really?
well, this is the thing. Sacramento likes to say they're NorCal, but you're not NorCal if it still takes you 6 hours to go to the top of the border. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was. You actually enlightened me about the Sacramento, why it's the capital of our state.
Yeah, what did I say? I would love to know.
You don't remember that?
I know I talked about this on a podcast, but I forget.
So you were
they
saying-
wanted to draw people to the Central Valley,
Yeah,
right?
they wanted to draw people to the Central Valley. I'm like, bro, but Sac from the Central Valley is like damn near like.
It's 2 hours away. I mean, from Merced. Merced.
Yeah, it's about 2 hours.
Probably 2 hours from you
2
guys in Los
and change,
Banos, right?
I
Yeah.
think.
But the Modesto, it's only an hour and a half, you know what I mean? Or hour and 15. And so that's why
okay.
I'm like, when Sacramento says sometimes they're the Bay or that they're NorCal.
When I think of Sac, I think of the Bay. I'm not gonna lie,
Dude, what are you talking about? It's 2 hours from Sacramento to the Bay.
bro. Like, bro, San Jose.
San Jose is like even farther than the Bay to San Francisco. Is
Bro,
closer.
no,
yeah, it is.
wait, is it actually?
Yeah, dude, it's like 2 hours. Sacramento's like 2 hours from San Francisco. Look,
Wait.
dude, we're it's close. I'll do it here.
Sac to the Bay. Look it. Sac
Sacramento.
is right here.
Hold on. I got you.
Sac.
To San Francisco. Here. Oh, if it loads. Well, right now there's a shit ton of, but right there, 3 hours, 34 minutes. Obviously, there's a lot of traffic right now.
Oh shit. Yeah.
Yeah. But Sacramento.
Because Sacramento to San Jose is 2 hours. You just got traffic.
Yeah, right now there's a lot of traffic. Yeah.
Mike, are you on Google Maps?
Dude, yeah, okay. Apparently, you
Wait,
guys.
dude, what's wrong with you?
What's wrong with me? Good, dude.
But
No, dude. First off, Apple Maps sucks ass, and I hate it.
bruh,
Dude,
put it in the comment section below. What are you, Google Maps or Apple Maps?
Google Maps is superior in every way.
Bro, pull up yours.
Yeah,
pull
at least
Google
mine
Maps.
giving me the traffic. You're just giving you no traffic right there.
Yeah, because it's giving me the smartest route.
No, dude, this one has the smartest route. What are you talking about? This one has like 6 different options.
Bro, look it. Simplicity. That's what. See,
No,
look it.
dude.
That is
Apple
what Apple
Maps-
Music is about.
Apple Maps.
Apple Music. Apple Maps.
Apple Maps sucks.
Fuck no.
I'm a firm believer that Google Maps is superior, but
In what sense?
in the sense that,
Put me on.
in the sense that like I can go like it's so much easier to go like, all right, I'm on the freeway somewhere. Let's go get Starbucks somewhere. Let's go do this. It's just 2 buttons and you can go click on it. Yeah, yours is probably similar. I just hate the fucking format of your guys'.
Stop.
Because I'm on Google Maps and it'll take me somewhere. And I'm not even fucking anywhere near the fucking building. And I'm like, what the? It's happened twice to me. And ever since those 2 times, I'll never go back to Apple Maps. And my wife will use it sometimes. And I'm like, dude, what are you using? Like, this is so annoying. I'm a firm believer that Google Maps is superior. But we can meet in the middle.
We can meet in the middle. We can meet in the middle.
I think that Waze is probably better than both of those, honestly.
He was just talking about that, but I don't know what the hell that is.
Waze is like you're saying it takes you the fastest route. It legitimately takes you on the fastest route, like better than Google Maps and better than and it'll be like car broken down on the side of the road. It'll be like dead animal side of the road. It'll let you know all these things that are coming up. It'll be like cops right here on the road. And so I think Waze is probably the best route of it, but I'm not a big fan of Apple Maps. We literally had the conversation earlier because he was making fun of Gabe for using Google Maps. I was like, what are you talking about? Google Maps is the shit,
Gabe
man.
used Google Maps too? He would. Wait, Adrian, what did you use?
He's Apple.
I use Waves.
Oh, use Waze?
Yeah,
What the fuck?
because it tells you where cops are and stuff, and I speed a lot, so you know.
Nah, facts. That's
Breaks the law a lot. He likes cars.
dude. Okay, stupid, dude. Eventually, I don't know who, because like everyone plays their specific role. But once we get a bigger studio, I want to have a Jamie.
I mean, Duffy is my Jamie slash.
Is he?
Editor. Yeah, he looks up stuff. So like,
Okay.
he sits like Duffy just basically sits like right there. But then we have a TV up.
Yeah,
And
I want to have a TV somewhere and just. Like,
yeah, and then if we ever need to look up something, like there's a lot of but it's like honestly a bitch editing, like to bring it up. So sometimes like.
Is it?
Well, I mean like I do everything manual. I mean I do like the autopod thingy, and so it kind of edits for me. But then like bringing in the it's just like you have so many layers when you're editing that like sometimes it's just like imagine and like bringing in the because we do screen record whatever we're bringing up and stuff, but sometimes it's just like off by a couple seconds.
What do we
and
use?
Stuff.
Opus.
Opus Clip for like some of the
Autopod.
Oh yeah, for the editing of it. Yeah.
Dude, okay, dude. Let me just say, like, and I'm 100% transparent about this, right? Because talking about feeling appreciated and shit, right? Bruh, that's an insider. But anyways, okay. So my main job on this fucking pod, right, is to stalk the shit out of you and get new guests.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even gonna lie, right? And my boy right here is cracked on the fucking editing, right? So he does the editing. Adrian's the videographer, and then Gabe kind of like helps oversee it.
Like manages it.
Yeah,
to a certain extent, or
right.
whatever.
And then I'm just like the face. You know what I mean? So which is great for me, right? But then also that's another reason I don't want to have just random ass people on. 'Cause you know how you're like, okay, like let's give you an episode. Like, what do you want to?
Yeah. What are you talking
Okay.
about? Yeah.
Nah, because there's like a lot of people behind this that it's like it takes a lot of wheels to run this. I'm not gonna bring everyone here to waste their time on some random ass fool.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah. Which I would recommend that, or I would encourage you to also get behind the edits and stuff. Just that way that it's not that way it doesn't rely on other people, because at the end of the day it's like he could edit the pod with the autopod and everything, give it to you, and then if you just know how to clip out stuff, that helps you make more content, because they're not always going to be able to be like, hey, here's 5 promos from this one podcast. It's like I don't even do that with my own podcast, but like at least I have the ability to go back and be like, oh, I can clip this out, because basically I'm probably going to take like a six month hiatus from my podcast because I'm about to have a kid. So like I'm just like I'm not even worried about anything with the podcast, honestly. It's just like this season's are like been a bonus. Like I got guests on I got LaRussell on, and like
shout out LaRussell, dude.
LaRussell's awesome, and like I don't even understand how I got him on my podcast, honestly. Like I'm like whatever, like at this point it's cool, like, but like I don't really know how things have been working out, and like every guest that I want to get on, like, or every guest goal like kind of ends up working out, and it's just organically happens, and I don't know how. I think it's kind of one of those things where you speak into the universe and it happens, and I think as long as you're a good person and you keep working at stuff, that it's going to work out for you. But at the same time, it's like there's so many times where I'm like, fuck all this. Like there really is. Like it's like it's super normal, and that's why I was telling you, like, hey, get through like 20, 40 episodes, and then kind of be like, okay, now let's go get sponsors, because you have a better idea of who you are, what you want to do with it, and a regularity of it. You can kind of get how do I have 3 episodes a month versus maybe 2 this month, 4 the next month. I would do, like, in the beginning, I was like, let's fucking pump out these podcasts. And I was pumping them out as fast as I could. But, like, the quality wasn't that good. And then I was like, what if we slow it down?
Okay.
And, like, so it was 4 a month, and then then I made it down to 3 a month, because it just is overwhelming, honestly. And it's not my full-time gig. Like, people think that I do the podcast full-time, and I mean, I wish I could do the podcast full-time, but it just doesn't work like that. This is the fun part of a podcast, right? This is the best part, is the talking, the hanging out, shooting the shit. But what's not
that's like a couple hours worth of shit.
Yeah, exactly. That's a couple hours. But then what's not the fun part is the editing that goes behind the scenes, me doing my promos, which is like I made a habit of me. That's kind of how I gained popularity, was like doing these
little skits.
Yeah, skits and ridiculous promos and stuff. And I truly enjoy those things, because like like Lonely Island type stuff. So like that's kind of like what I was raised with, was like that type of humor and stuff. Yeah. And so that's kind of where like I draw some of my inspiration from. And then it became this thing that like it was like people kind of expect me to do promos or want me to do promos, and like I'm all down for it. Yeah. But it's very hard to just be like, oh, think of a good idea. 'Cause for every great promo I have, there's fucking 5 not so good promos. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like for me, like we're at 4 a month, right? But granted, I'm thankful to have a team behind me that it's like it's not that hard, you know. Now, like because I do one video a week, right? Like each week has its own week of marketing. Yeah,
right. Content, everything else. Yeah.
So right now we have content all the way out till the end of like mid-November, right? For just like pods that we've already pre-shot.
Yeah.
So I was like, I think after like these next couple pods that I already had physically scheduled, I think I want to take a break. And my thing is now I want to find people that like me and my team deem interesting and that we can pull stories out of, like you were saying, because the content, the production value's pretty good right now, right? We got all the gear. We have the team. So now it's like, okay, like you were talking about, like when you're like, one day hopefully I can get like D-list and C-list celebrities.
Yeah,
right?
dude. Yeah. Which, like, technically I do have like SD-list celebrity, or I don't know, C, B.
Russell's pretty.
He's pretty poppin'. And then Dope as Yola. Do you know who Dope as Yola is?
No.
He's like this big weed influencer. That's how he kind of got started. But he was born and raised in Merced. But he has a podcast called Dope as Usual Podcast. He's had Tony Hawk on, Steve-O on. He's had fucking, who did he just have? Cheech and Chong on.
Yeah.
He's had like, dude, big fucking names. But he's out in LA right now. But I just got connected through him, through my buddy in Merced. And he was like, yeah, man, I'd love to come on your podcast. And so when he was visiting for Christmas, he came on the podcast. And like, dude, he has like 2 million followers on YouTube and shit.
You know what's funny, bro? Like, I don't know if it's like La Russell's like a niche artist, but I feel like everyone I've asked, like, oh, bro, like, I have so and so on. He's like, he interviewed La Russell, and they're like,
people are like, who's that? Yeah. Honestly, like me and Duffy, it's funny because like it's like we were so juiced on that episode, we're pumped up, and like when we posted it, we're like, oh, like you almost just think it's gonna blow up. You know what I mean? Because you have an artist that necessarily like and you look up to on, and then like. It kind of just was like an average podcast.
Yeah.
And I kept like, in the beginning, I was like, all kind of disappointed on it. And like, you can get in your own head about like, oh man, it should be bigger, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, it's like.
The Reels did good on that though.
Yeah, but not as good as like, I've had like other Reels do. Like they did good somewhat, but not necessarily like, none of them hit like 10K really besides his performance one. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it's like, hey, if you're gaining value from this person, if this was one of your, like my goals, mine and Duffy's goals, if this has brought you joy and we were really happy and he was like spitting game and knowledge to us when we were there, it's like, that's all you could ask for. Yeah. Like everything else, like posting and everything, like, yeah, you might think it would have been bigger and stuff, but it doesn't matter, dude. It doesn't, like, if it brings you value, and that's the thing you have to get out of your head about, though, because it's, for me, sometimes every episode, it's just like, oh, I thought it'd be better, I thought I'd do better, and, like, podcast is a very slow game where, like, not everyone's going to listen to it the first day it comes out. Not everyone's going to listen to it the first week it comes out. Not everyone's going to listen to it the first month it comes out. And so it's like trickles in where like sometimes it's like we had that viral video of shit Central Valley people say go on, and like our downloads went up to like it was like regularly 300 to 500 a month, and then it went up to like 2,000 one month. And we're like, oh shit, like, you know what I mean? And it's like, that's the power of social media right there. Yeah. But it's just funny that like
you're one video away from going viral, and then your shit just blowing up.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like you never know really what it's gonna be. Yeah. And it's like sometimes it's me talking good about the area that does really well. Sometimes it's me just making fun of the area that does really well. Yeah. So it's just all kind of mixing it and figuring out what works, what doesn't. But
because I know, like, I've never really had that issue of like, fuck, of people seeing it or not. It's because like, this is how I've always kept it like grounded. Where I'm like I feel if you put that number into like a person perspective, then it puts things, it boosts your own mental about it, right? Like, on average, like most of our videos between like 150 to 300 views, 400 views, right? And so one could argue like, bro, that's it. Like, bro, you have like all these people, but it's like, bro, it's an hour long. It's a long format shit. I'm not expecting people to watch the whole.
Oh yeah,
thing.
it's like when you look at the watch time, it's like 10 minutes. I'm like, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I'll take. that.
I'll take 10 minutes of it.
I think of it this way. I'm like, put like on one of my steroid pods. I had them guy talked about steroids, right? I think it almost had like 350, almost 400 views, right? And I'm like, if I put 400 people into a room. Bro, that's a lot of people. Yeah. For live. Like, if we put that in live, right? Like, let's say this gets, like, 300 views, this pod. We have 300 people actually watching us talk.
That's crazy. Yeah, exactly. But, like, when you look at just, like, the number online and you see other people have thousands or whatever. I mean, that's just the whole imposter syndrome and just... Yeah. And it's hard to get over in the sense of, like... I'd be lying if I said I didn't look at the numbers. You know, of course I look at the numbers. It's like you want to see growth. You know what I mean? And for the first, honestly, like the first year was a lot of growth. The first year and a half was, and then like I felt like from like season like 2 or 3 to to 4 was like very just
like
similar.
a hiatus.
It was just like a similar everything. Like no one was too many views, but no, not too less. It was just all the same. And then season 5, I was like, okay, like let's just like try to put a little more energy into it, and we did. And
like in terms of what, like what more energy did you put?
we made a trailer basically that we put in every episode. So it's like, but when you listen to every single podcast, before the podcast starts, it lets you know what this podcast is about, what our mission is, what we do, and you know what I mean? And so it's just like when you listen to it, we do like the hook in the beginning. So a part of this podcast would be hooked in the beginning that I thought was like a catchy one. And then instantly the trailer plays. And then I used to do intros to every single podcast. So I'd be like, hey, what's up?
And then you were like, bro, it's too long.
Yeah, dude. Like, exactly. And then that's why that Dope was Yellow guy on the podcast. And like he posted on his Instagram page, was like, go listen to this. With like hella comments were like, bro, fucking 15 minutes or like 10 minutes for a fucking intro. Like, and it's just like good criticism that like I should get, honestly.
Yeah.
And that made me realize like, oh, what if I just cut it out? And since once I cut it out, it's like my downloads went up like 100. You know
really?
what I mean?
That's why you know what's funny? That's how I feel. And I like he's so much bigger than us, so you can do whatever you want. But that's how Theo Vaughn's podcasts are. Do you know who Theo Vaughn is?
Yeah, I fucking love Theo Vaughn.
Bro, do you watch his podcast?
Yeah, I love it.
Bro, his fucking intros are like 3 minutes long. Like I like the intro. It's like shine bright on.
Oh yeah, his song's great, dude.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, but
shine your
dude,
light on me.
Yeah, that song's a banger.
Yeah.
But then he goes into his tour dates, and then he goes into his merch.
Yeah.
And it's like, bro, shut the fuck up already. Like you could have broke that up the way you do. Like
but like when you're at that age, it doesn't. I mean that's
why I said he's big. He's big as fuck.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't matter.
Which like now it's like I'm building my merch website because I fucking bought so much merch recently.
It's just like Central Valley merch.
Yeah. So it's like my logo. I got hoodies. I got my almond allergies and asthma t-shirts.
Yeah.
It says almond allergies and asthma, Central Valley, California. And then I got like other CVP shirts basically.
What's the website called?
I'm still working on that.
Oh, I thought it was posted.
Oh, it'll be CentralValleyPodcast.com. But
I
it's
was gonna shout it out.
So it's on. Yeah, it's one of those things where I had like a different website and my domain name's there, but I have to transfer it over to this other one, and it's like, dude, I've been dealing with this.
Dude,
yeah.
thank you so much for.
Oh yeah, no problem, man.
I want to see it. I don't give a fuck. I want to see that shit.
Yeah, it just my buddy has a screen printing machine, so I was able to like go get shirts and shit that like I could put like actually get flannels and put my own shit on them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Dude, this is hard.
I love that logo though. I'm very proud of my logo because I'm not very good at graphic arts or anything, but
you know what? I like the story behind the logo, right?
Yeah.
Which is like, okay, we got the pine, and then we got the palm tree. And it's like that's how you know
so,
we're in the middle.
Yeah, exactly. So NorCal is pine trees, SoCal is palm trees, where the pines meet the palms. Central Valley. If you're driving on the 99, middle of Madera, there is a pine and palm tree planted to represent the center of California. And it's a large. It should fit. Yeah. There you go. There we go.
Bro, let's go. Bro.
Yeah, you go all the way around. It's okay.
Around,
just stand in front of that camera.
Oh, yeah.
No,
Thank you,
kidding.
bro.
Yeah, dude. Of course.
I appreciate this, man.
Of course, dude.
You know what's funny? I don't want to bite off more than I can chew, and I feel like I really am. You know, this is a lot. You know what I mean? I'm doing a lot within. We're not even like posted. We're not even 10 episodes in. We're not even 10 episodes in, right? I think we're at like 8, 7 type shit. We have a lot of shot already.
Yeah.
But
it's not released yet.
Yeah, but in terms of like, okay, like this is what's posted, bro. I'm only 10 episodes in. You have total, right? Like you had
I have like 90 something now.
Yeah, you have 91 episodes, right? And then you have 30 live sessions, right?
Like, oh yeah. I forgot live sessions. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Bro, I'm not even 10 in videos, and it's like I'm so worried about. Okay, I need to get the production value, then I need to get this and that and this and that. It's like, bro, slow down, bro.
Yeah,
like, I just got here.
Yeah.
I
mean, at least you have that transparency to think like that, honestly.
Yeah.
Because some people would just be like, they're just like, oh, we're good. Like, don't look at it like it's bigger than it is. You know what I mean? For me, it's like some people think my podcast is. They're like, oh, this guy's got to figure it out. And it's like, dude, I'm still figuring it out every day. We all are. Like, this game of life that we play, it's like the whole thing. It's like you get to be like 20, 22, 23, and you're like, oh, wait, like I am an adult now. Like, you know what I mean? You're like, but when you were 16 or 15 or 11 and you met a 22-year-old, they're like, that guy got it all figured out. You know what I mean?
And now I'm here. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
am I doing,
exactly.
Bro?
And I think everybody always has that type of they think like that.
Yeah.
And like it makes sense to a certain extent, but also it's just, I mean, we're all here on this earth for a limited amount of time. We're all here to have a good time.
Exactly.
We all want to impact people. We also want to do it in a way that is genuine. And there's a lot of fake stuff going on in the world and just in social media and everything else. And it's like, we all get wrapped up into that, dude. I do. Like, dude, we're all endlessly scrolling, and I wish we weren't. And it just like, it's fucking me every day.
I know. I
I
have that problem.
Dude, yeah. And how do you not have that problem with today's society when every single video is like, and that's why it's like, I try not to think too much. That's why my time off from doing the podcast, I want to just focus more on like trying to be present and like what I actually like and what I actually want to do and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So with that, how does the whole seasons work? I don't understand that.
However you want it to work, man.
But like, what does that entail, bro?
For me, it just gives you like if you just do podcasts every week, you're eventually going to be burned out. Like there's no breaks ever, you know what I mean? And so it's a good way to compartmentalize stuff. So for me, I didn't know there was going to be seasons of my podcast when I started it. It's basically season 1. Season 1 and 2 were like.
Bet.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're chilling, bro.
Oh, you're good. Season 1 and 2 were basically like at my house when I had the studio there.
Yeah.
And I didn't even call it 2 separate seasons. And then we moved into the studio, and I was like, oh, maybe this is season 2. And it was like 3 or 4 episodes, and then I just take breaks for myself. But, I mean, the reason I do seasons is just like compartmentalize stuff. So it's like, all right, let's do fucking 12 episodes, and that'll be a season. And then I used to do 2 seasons a year, so it'd be like February to June, and then August to December or something like that.
And then you just like take a break?
Yeah, and then I just take a break. And then this past year, I took 3 months off.
I did want to talk more on the like biting off more we can chew, but at the second we were talking about episodes.
Oh, seasons. Oh, yeah. So it's a good way to give yourself breaks. But like, so this year it was like, I knew I wanted to like, because it was kind of like we only had 1 month of a break last year, and it was just a lot, and it was overwhelming. And it's not mine and Duffy's full-time gig, and it's not.
What does Duffy do?
Duffy's an almond farmer.
Oh, he's still an almond farmer?
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
Shit.
So like, it's just like. Was a lot, honestly, and it's not necessarily bringing home the bread, you know what I mean? And so it's like I kind of wanted to focus more on video and building that business, and then just it's good to take breaks and have to reflect on stuff.
Yeah.
But like, mind you, like we took a 3-month break this year, but after month 1 was done, it's like, well, we got to start stacking up episodes. So it's not like really a break, you know what I mean? It's just a break from posting.
Okay.
And I do that like so for this year we did from April till August, and we had 3 episodes every single month come out.
Yeah.
And I do that, and then now we have from September, October, November, December we're going to have off, and we'll probably have January, February off too.
No shit.
And that sounds like it's a long time off, right? But at the same time, it's like I said, last time we took a break, we grew more in our break than we ever did while posting during the show. And so it's just like about using the footage I have and going back through and being like, that's a good promo. That's a good promo. And so I'm still going to be posting for 6 months because we have a catalog
like a backlog
of 90 episodes we can go through. You know what I mean?
Oh, shit.
I mean, we're not going to post ones that were like in my house still, but like anything in the studio, it's like we're going to like there's so many parts of podcasts from this season that I never clipped out just because I didn't have time. And so it's like I'm just going to use that stuff to kind of stay relevant. I'll still do stuff. I'll still go places, sell merch and stuff. But I just do that to help myself compartmentalize things. And when I say that, it's because it can get overwhelming if you have this quota of 3 a month, of 4 a month, of X amount a month. And that's what I would recommend you do is like I'm saying, like do your 20 episodes and then take a break and be like, okay, what do I like about this? What do I not like about this? What do I want to change? And it'll just surprise you because it helps you grow as a person too.
Yeah.
Like it's helped me be more professional and less professional at the same time. You know what I mean?
Funny? I'm trying like even this is like because I have my life outside of this, obviously, like they can attest to it. Like we're talking about off the pod, right? But like I've wanted to make this so professional, you know, because that's what I wanted it to go for. I'm like,
but who are you? Are you
the-
kind of unprofessional sometimes though?
Yeah, but here's the thing. Here's the thing, right? The same way you said you have like your job outside of this, which is like photography and videography and stuff. This is like going to be my career. Like I want this to be my career, and this is like I borderline almost quitting my job, getting a part-time job, like in town because I work in Tracy, right, at Amazon, and that's like I work 6 p.m. to 4:30 a.m. and then the hour drive, right? So to me, this has grown pretty decently for like what it is. It's not that big, obviously, but it's like we made some,
exactly.
we made some effort.
You get some people hitting you up,
Yeah.
telling you things, liking it.
Yeah, and all of that was barely putting like I'm gonna be
Like your free
transparent.
time into it, right?
Yeah, and I'm gonna be transparent. I feel like 60 to 50% of my like all into it, and it's look, it's been pretty good for me. So imagine if I put at least 70% of all of or my 100% into this, how much faster everything would start picking up, right? So of course, like that's why I like smoking on the pod, right? Like I'm like shit, fuck it, like do what you got to do, right? But like for me, worrying about sponsors, worrying about this and that, like sponsors don't care about you drinking, right? But then some companies frown upon smoking, and then it's like
I was worried about that, but I mean,
you know what I mean? It's like, but it's also kind of like who cares?
Yeah. So I was worried about it, and then that's the last podcast of my season was Dope as Yo, let the weed influencer dude, and I was like, well, fuck it, I'm just gonna smoke because. If there's any podcast I'm going to smoke with anybody, it's this dude who got popular through smoking. You know what I mean? And we're smoking joints on it. And guess
well, that's
what?
like if I got Snoop Dogg on the pod.
So it's kind of equivalent to that.
Yeah.
Like, it's like that type of...
There's no way you can't.
Yeah, no, exactly. It was that type of thing. And then, like... And now it's just, like, to a certain point where I'm like, oh, listen, if a sponsor doesn't want to sponsor me because I'm smoking weed on the podcast, something that's completely illegal in California, then...
Maybe that's... I don't want...
It just... It's not even that... It's like no hard feelings. It's like, hey, like, that whatever. But it's also... How many people like I'm saying, how many people are watching versus how many people are listening? People who are listening have no fucking idea that we're smoking on the podcast. You know what I mean? And I mean, but like you're saying, I wouldn't recommend that you instantly quit your job. Personally.
Oh no, I'm not quitting the job. No.
But you, in your mind, you think, oh, would I be doing it? Because the thing is, what I realize with things, it's like, the more free time you end up having, it's not like, now, I have all this free time, I'm instantly going to put it towards a podcast. In theory, that sounds great. Yeah.
Yes.
But then it's just life.
It's not the reality.
Yeah, it's not the reality. And sometimes it's better to have this full-time gig and then have this passion project on the side, because that passion project is what fuels you to go to work and come back and be excited still for things, where sometimes it's like, I know friends and stuff where they're like, a year into doing photography and stuff, they're like, I'm gonna quit my other job, I'm gonna go dive full into it, and then they hit like 3 weeks of like, fuck, what do I do? How do I make money? Gabe looking at me because he knows who I'm talking about. But it's just one of those things where it's like,
damn,
no, but it's not a hate either. It's just like, to me, it's like, okay, we'll go from full time to part time. Then don't go from full time to quitting everything and jumping full speed and then feeling lost, feeling like you don't know what to do. It's because it's like when you have so much free time and you don't know how to structure it for yourself.
Yeah, you don't have good time management.
Yeah, exactly. And I do as a like independent contractor, sole proprietor, whatever the fuck I am. It's like that's the hardest thing I struggle with, is having a routine for myself, because doing photo, doing video, doing podcasts, nothing is the same. Every episode's a different time. Every gig is at a different time.
Yeah.
Every time I'm editing is a different time, because I can have like 6 days of shooting something. And then it's like, okay, well, fuck, that's going to take me like 2 or 3 weeks to edit. You know what I mean? So it's just being smart with your time and just being transparent with yourself.
Yeah. And I feel like that's something I am pretty good at. Like, just like, let's just call shit for what it is, right? You know what I mean? Like anything that like, just anything. I'm not the type to just be like, oh, nah, just like ignorance is bliss type shit. You know what I mean? But no, I do agree about like not quitting, like quitting your job and shit like that. But and also too, I do need to work on editing too. Like you.
That's what I'm saying. Just like use the time that you have, that's free time, to like maybe after 20 episodes, you take your time and be like, oh, let me just try to figure out editing promos or something like that. You know what I mean? At the very least, do the editing, the promos, so that way it's like, you want to be able to be involved with it. Like, yes, it is important for you as the host to research the guests and everything. Yeah. But it's like, let's say all 3 of them are busy with other gigs.
Bro, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
like,
you know what I mean?
It's a blessing and a curse, because I was like, dude, that's what has happened is what I didn't want, but it's going in a good way. It's like, oh, why didn't I want an editor before? Oh, it's because like, what if like shit goes out and then I don't have the editor anymore, and I never learned how to edit, and then I'm fucked.
Yeah,
right?
And then your quality. Because I've had some people like they went through podcasts and they hired other people to produce their podcast and everything, which is great. And then they were like, "Oh fuck, this is too expensive for me to do routinely. What if I try to do it myself, and then like there's a
Production
giant
value.
like it's like why is it like and then people are like what happened to it, why is it, you know what I mean?
And that's another reason I was so worried, because I took like a 2-month just like hiatus of like not posting or like filming. That was like the calm before the storm of like having everyone and then like everything just going really fast, right? Because it was so overwhelming trying to do everything myself. You know what I mean? And then I was like, okay, like, let me see if I can bring people in. And now it's a blessing, you know what I mean? But I also, another, like, quote unquote excuses that I have is I didn't have anything to edit on. And I had a MacBook Air. But then all of this type of content, unless you have, like, an external hard drive, it's not going to fit, But then I just bought a Mac Mini. And I have, like, a whole setup. So now I'm, like, able
slowly getting there, yeah.
Yeah, because, like, I'm slowly trying to chop up reels. You know what I mean? And even that, I'm like,
Yeah, but hey, just learn. That's my whole advice. And it's funny because like I kind of had the opposite route as you in the sense of like it was like me by myself for the first like 15 episodes, or I mean Duffy came in and started editing like the 7th of just the audio, and then but now I'm at a stage when I'm like 90 episodes in. It's like I kind of want to build out a team now. You know what I mean? And so I'm at the stage where it's like
who would you hire? Like what's someone you would need?
It's just like a video person, like basically like kind of like I want to do some like behind the scenes stuff, basically of like us talking to the guests, hanging out, just those type of deals. It's like it's just me and Duffy, and so it's like I almost need another person to just film some stuff for us while we're hanging out with the guests, just talking with the guests, and then just so it's not all on me and Duffy, honestly. And like that's the thing, it's like people think that like we're like a successful money-wise podcast, and it's like, dude, we're just covering the rent, and that's cool with us because like it's a great experience for us. And then it's like I want to help bring value to people, and I do that through highlighting whatever it may be, teachers to rappers to musical artists to business owners to whatever it may be. But at the same time, it's like I want to be able to kind of share my knowledge on stuff with other people in the community, and I would love to do that with other videographers and photographers, and just like make a community, because right now I do have a community, but me and Duffy are like the center of it, and I'd rather be able to community where it's like, hey, there's like 3 or 4 other people, and like, listen, I'm not paying those 3 or 4 other people, and I hope they know that. You know what I mean? Like it's not that I don't want to pay them, it's that like, hey, you can use a studio anytime you want, you can do it. It's like things like that I want to do, but it's like I haven't had the opportunity or chance to really reflect on that. And so with this next 6 months off, it's kind of like I want to make the team a little bit bigger than what it is. I want to come back every season. I like to come back and rebrand a certain way and come at it a different way.
Because I know, like, for me, it was also a lot of pressure because, like, of course, obviously, the production value could be a lot better, but, like, you can attest to it, too, like, your first episodes compared to now, right? So my episodes, relatively speaking, have been relatively cool. Like, they're not bad, you know what I mean? And my worry was, like, okay, I don't want to take steps backwards because everyone has told me in, like, my little community that it's like, bro, the production value on shit, it's really good. Like, oh, it looks great. So that kind of has put a lot of pressure on me to be like, okay, like I can't take steps backwards. And I always say like, oh, every pod should be better than the next, right? But then I'm like,
there'll be some hiccups.
There will be some fucking hiccups.
There always is, yeah.
My 3rd episode, like you were talking about with the out of focus, I had it on a Gorilla Pod right here. And this is why I have my mic like this, because when I had it like this, it caught that in focus. So for the whole pod...
Oh, dude, I like some of my Central Valley sessions, this is in focus, because like you're saying, this is like this, and the rapper's rapping behind it, but like it's just in focus, and then they're just a little blurry behind it.
Yeah, that's why I was like, I'm just like, from now moving forward, it's just like, I'm going to keep it like that. You know what I mean? But another thing, too, that's been like such a blessing, too, is just like Gabe, for example, right? It's been basically me and him from the jump. Like, of course, I'm the one that's like wants to do the pod, right? Yeah. But then he has way more experience in this field. You know what I mean? Yeah. And like, thankfully, I was blessed that he took like the chance on me to be like, oh yeah, I'll help you. You know what I mean? Like, take a pay cut, like take all this shit. Like, he's like, yeah, I believe in it. Fuck it. You know what I mean? And then all of these guys are on his team. Like, I've known Adrian since I was little, right? But then, if you call it for what it is, he's working for him. Yeah. Right? Same thing with the editor, too. So it's like, and all of them believe in me, too. And they're like, all right, fuck it. We'll do this. But then I always say, too, it's like, this is my career. And, you guys will reap the reward in this eventually.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Which is I'm like so blessed to be able to have that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's why I feel like it will get better eventually. Like
Yeah.
it will get bigger eventually. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? But you gotta fall in love with the process.
Dude, yeah, and it's like it's a very long, slow game. Like I think, yeah. I'm like, my idea is like, all right, maybe like episode 1,000 will be full time. You know what I mean? That's kind
Yeah.
of like my goal. But like I mean, it is what it is. Just like you're saying, enjoy the journey. You gotta enjoy the journey.
Like you told me
because-
before the pod, it's like you don't know you're into the good old days until you look back, right?
Yeah, you don't know
And-
you're in the good old days till you look back and you're looking at
like
the good
right
old
now,
days.
if in terms of the pod, right, this will be the good old days.
Yeah,
when I'm
yeah.
in this little room, right,
Mhm.
I got the squad. You know what I mean? And at the time, like these are like my big guests. Like, I'm
Yeah,
like, let's
yeah.
fucking go.
Yeah.
No way, I got Central Valley Pod on.
Well,
It's
yeah,
like,
exactly. And like for me, like I say, it's Lil Russell, it's Dope Yola.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, I can't believe I got these people on. But
yeah.
it's
There's
also-
levels to this shit, man.
There is, and then also at the same time, it's just like I want to start doing it to where like some of my biggest podcasts are people that aren't like my big guest. You know what I mean? It's like I had this dude who I actually wanted on the podcast for a long time. And he's just like I was raised on a dairy farm, and he's like a farmer type dude, and he's very good at communicating. And I was like, oh, that'd be a good way to bridge the gap between like the younger people and the ag community in the Central Valley.
Okay.
And like I just kind of had my eye on him, and I told him about it, and like I had him on the podcast, and like it was like one of my favorite episodes. I could like
Okay.
and it wasn't one of the big guests that I like wanted
Yeah.
on. You know what I mean? It was just like this normal guy who's a good dude who is very just like work ethic driven. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's how my pod was for like, I think it was like the last one I just posted with Dante, right? That was the guy that got me in like that one for me, like was like, okay, if I hey no, what a rookie
mistake.
Adrian
Fucking
can
the
never.
Flash. Is
eh.
it? Oh wait,
Oh, no,
there we go.
it's again.
Gabe, don't you ever interrupt this podcast again, okay? I know your team's all sitting over here, but hey, cut it. See, but like having this type of shit happen, dude, it's like, yeah, I enjoy this. You know what I mean? I enjoy just shooting the shit, having a good time.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Oh, another thing, bringing on that, right? Okay, so you told me, you were like, okay, but is that really you? When I was talking about the professionalism and shit like that. Okay, so the shitty part about social media is once there's a certain narrative or stigma put on you, that's what it is, right? So, okay.
So for me, it's the opposite, honestly. Everyone thinks I'm this goofy dude all the time. And sometimes I'm like, dude, no, I want you guys to take me seriously too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, but it's like
It's like a
it's
love-hate
like-
relationship.
Yeah, exactly.
Type shit.
And people know I'm serious too, but it's just like,
Yeah.
they see me, they're like, be
'Cause, like,
funny.
for-
I'm like, I can't.
You're like, damn.
yeah.
Like, for me, it's like when I've reached out to people, like anyone I've wanted, like, I'm like so grateful for this, has been willing to come on. Like, I've reached out to them. I hit them up like with like respect. I'm like, this is what I do. It would be an honor to have you on if you would like to have the time for me. Boom, they do that, right? Because this is what I genuinely enjoy. But if I'm just having it like all the like guys my age that are having a podcast or shooting the shit, this and that, it's like they don't.
There's
people
no value there.
Yeah, there's no value there.
And it's good to have those every now and then for yourself
Yeah.
and for your friends. But like you're saying, like when I always tell people, it's like no one wants to listen to a podcast if you and your friends are just talking shit. Like unless you already have a platform. If you already have a bigger platform, like and people like you because you mess around or whatever, yeah, they're gonna like you and your friends
like for
talking
Theo
shit.
Von, him just saying the out of pocket
exactly.
shit.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
like-
And that's not. And a crazy thing about Theo Von is like it's not even out of pocket because in the sense of like.
It's
That's
just
how
Theo.
he, yeah,
That's
exactly.
Theo.
Yeah, exactly. And he can hold himself with like smart ass people and stuff too. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like people think he's dumber than he is, and he's not
it's a
necessarily.
character.
No, exactly. Yeah, but it's not even a character. It's just who he is. Yeah, yeah.
I remember he had Neil deGrasse Tyson on, bro.
Oh, he's like, do you think space is gay? yeah. And he was like, yeah. And like, pretty much, I guess space is gay
What
in
you
a
mean
way.
by that?
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's why I was like, okay, no, I rather it be taken seriously and it be a pod of substance than people just think of it as just like some bullshit ass pod for some 22-year-old in
Yeah.
Hispano. So you know what I mean? Because one of my friends, he hit me up from like LA, and he's like, bro, I want you to come down, this and that, we can do a pod. Like that's how, because I thought he wanted to hang out, but then he threw it in there. It's like, oh, you know what, we should do a pod too. I'm like, that's why you want me to fucking go over there, asshole. You know what I mean? And I was like, okay, look, and I flipped it like really fast. I was like, okay, sick. What would we talk about? Like you told me about the pod. It's like, okay, what is your thing? Because he told me, he's like, oh, this is the #1 drinking school in the country, this and that. I'm like, okay, but that's not what I'm about. Like, yeah, that's what I'm about off camera. But it's like, for this, like, this is my baby. Like,
exactly.
What the fuck is that supposed to do for anybody? And then he flipped it and sent me like a long paragraph of why he felt it would be good. And I was like, okay. He's like, you know what? I'm a kid from the Central Valley, right? We don't have any schools like this. And I would want to talk about how it was me going from Los Banos, fucking 50,000 people, to going to LA, right? And then just boom, getting thrown into a whole nother world and talking about the troubles and this. I'm like, okay, that's
more.
That's a story.
But like, it probably wasn't his initial take on it.
It wasn't. But I rather it be like that, and then we have a fire pod because of it, and then the kids, because my demographic, right, on like for my analytics is like 16 to like 28. Right?
Yeah,
it's like all over.
I'm like 24 to 32 or something like that.
Yeah,
like, that's like my demographic.
Especially on Snapchat too, because I have like so many different people, and like people, and it's kind of awkward. And I wouldn't say imposter syndrome now, because I know what I'm like. Relatively speaking, I know where I want to go with it, right? But I'll have like 15-year-olds, like 14-year-olds, like, dude, I saw your podcast. I saw you on Snap. And I'm like, thanks, little bro. Like, what the fuck? You know what I mean?
Well, it's like our videos, our like promos do so well, but like my whole Central Valley people say one. It's like we say like, oh, it smells like jizz like 20 times in it, and like, dude, Duffy will like walk into a hardware store and like the people working will be like, smells like jizz, and he's like, hey, can you guys not do that, because other people don't know what the fuck we're talking about right now. You know, they don't know that this is a part of a video. They just think that some guy's coming in smelling like jizz. You know what I mean? And they're like, what the fuck, dude? But it's like the people are like Oakdale Bud to me when I walk past them. I'm like, oh, Oakdale Bud, like, you know what I mean? But like you're saying, it's like people only know you for like sometimes people like, oh, they'll know me from something else and like, hey, I saw you did this or whatever. And like, it's cool. It is cool getting like people giving you recognition. But at the same time, it's like it's like you don't know what people are gonna like you for. Like when you do this, it's like people, you might be like loving the serious stuff, and then somebody be like, you do a joking podcast or whatever, someone's gonna be like, dude, I love that podcast, and you're like, fuck, that's like everything like, I didn't want to do. Like, you know what I mean, or whatever.
Like, and that was the thing. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm out of pocket as hell. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, for him knowing me for like since I was little, dude, this is like a complete 180 to like, I wouldn't say me as a person, because there's so many different sides of me. That's what I was saying about like, I didn't want the wrong narrative to be painted based on social media, right? It's because like there's so many different sides of me that I want to be showcased on this pod, right? But for majority of the time, I talk about me maybe about like for like 2 minutes, 3 minutes out of everything. But then it's about you. This pod's about Micah. You know what I mean? So it's like,
well, I have the thing of where I go on podcasts and I just ask the guest questions over and over though.
Yeah, I seen that and I was like,
I just
do
that to people.
I was like, nah, bro, this spot. Okay, I seen that and I was like, fuck, I hope this fool doesn't try interviewing me. I was like,
dude, I did one podcast where I was asking this guy about his divorce and everything.
Nah,
I mean, it never got posted, so.
I was like, oh shit.
Shout out to you, dude. Sorry,
dude.
I don't mean to. I just am literally curious about other people too, and that's the best thing about being a podcast, is being curious about things.
Yeah.
If you're interested about something, it's like, I just like to see how other people's brains work.
Yeah, and that's why I was like getting like what we talked about with like getting paid to learn and stuff like that. Because like, yeah, don't get me wrong. Like, am I going to be a cosmetologist or a lash tech? No, but I am genuinely interested. Like, because to me in this town, I see everyone and their moms trying to be a lash tech, right? So I'm
like, how did you actually do it?
Yeah, like, and what's the hype behind it? Why is every girl trying to do this? You know what I mean? And it's like, I dive in, I learn about it. I'm like, oh shit, it's actually kind of cool.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the podcast that you have, like, it's like I'll have people who started like a nonprofit or like little random things that like conversations that you don't think, like, you're like, sometimes it's like, I guess I'll just have this person on. Like, honestly, some of my podcasts are like, fuck, we need an episode this week. I'm hitting up 6 people. Whoever's responded to me first is getting on the podcast. I'm curious,
how does that work for you? Like getting on guests?
It's honestly like, people think like there's some like way to do it, and it's just like, I think timing of everything works out by itself. So I'll have guests come on, and I think that like sometimes it's just the time that paths crossed, and it's someone I look for people who I think I can have a genuine conversation with, who I can vibe with, and at the same time can bring somewhat value to listeners. And there's no method to my madness. Sometimes I have them scheduled out like 2-3 weeks, a month, and other times it's just like, all right, fuck it, we need somebody on now. I'm gonna hit up these 3 people, and I'm gonna trust that like it just aligns. And I've had some guests where I'm like, oh, that wasn't what I was expecting. You know what I mean?
Like in a good or a bad way? Or just
both ways. But yeah, you know what I mean? It just sometimes it's hit and miss, sometimes it's miss, but it's never missed so bad. You know what I mean? I kind of have a good idea of like this season for sure showed me that like there's been a few guests that I'm like, oh, that's not ideally who I would want to have on. But at the same time, it's like they had a story. It was interesting, you know what I mean? And it's just, you'll get better at it. And I think even like 100 more episodes in, I'll probably have some guests where I'm like, what the fuck? You know
what are we even talking about?
Yeah, exactly.
What the fuck is happening right now? Because I know, like, luckily right now I've been blessed that like we're kind of booked out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like now when I reach out to people, the people that I want are obviously like busy within whatever they're doing. So I'm like, hey, no worries, bro. I'm not reaching out to you to get you tomorrow.
Yeah.
I shoot them like a month out or like 3 weeks out, and, and that is so much easier for them because I found people in this space are using like they use their calendar like a motherfucker, right? Like, and he put me on a Google Calendars, right? So I was saying how thankfully I'm already kind of booked out. And
using Google Calendar.
Yeah,
and
Google
being more
Calendar.
professional.
Yeah, I think though once like if I do run out of people, like I think I'm gonna do an internal. Because these guys are funny as shit. Like these are like the Three Stooges right here, fool.
Or do like once a month, you guys do a podcast with all you guys. Honestly, like that's something that I kind of want to do with either me and my wife, or I'm gonna have a daughter. Like, do you ever see the dude who has a podcast with his daughter? They're like 10 minutes long max, but like he'll have a podcast and he'll be like, "What do you think about this?" And like it's just a 3-year-old's opinion on stuff, but it's hella fucking funny.
Dude, that sounds funny.
Yeah, and honestly, and she'll just be like, "What do you think?" He'll ask her questions like, "What do you think I should do?" And she'll like give him like her advice of like things she hears from her mom, grandma, whoever.
Little baby advice.
Yeah, but it's funny, and it's like I want to start having or you know how Joe Rogan has like Fight Club or Fight Night, and then he has MMA show. Yeah, you know, so I kind of want to start doing that with my own podcast too, where it's like internal podcast. So like. The ones that are central.
It's been a while since you had Lindsay on, right?
Yeah. Well, so we had one. We had one about her being pregnant, but we didn't post it.
No.
Yeah. So we're gonna do another one either this weekend or next weekend before she has the baby, hopefully.
Oh shit!
And we want to do the first half of the podcast while she's pregnant, and then the second half of the podcast when we have the baby with us. Yeah, like because like kind of like what we're expecting and like what we're, you know what I mean, and then like
what actually happened.
Yeah, exactly. But like one podcast episode.
Yeah, you keep talking to everybody and asking everybody about like LaRussell like being a dad and this and that.
Yeah.
What are you thinking about? Where's Micah's head at right now?
So what I've kind of been telling people is because people are like, how are you preparing yourself and all these other questions. And honestly, right now, because like my wife could have a baby any day now, it's this weird because it's like the due date is 10/7, but people are born 3 weeks early. You know what I mean?
I was born a month early.
Yeah, I was born 3 weeks early. That's why I'm saying like it come any day. Yeah. But basically, it's like a weird anxious feeling where like I know a big giant life change is coming. I've prepared for it only as much as I can in the sense of like. I mean, you can't really prepare for it more than like we have the baby's room set up. We have all the gear we need. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it's just like an anxious feeling of like, all right, I know my life's going to be flipped upside down. I don't know when. I know it's coming soon. I'm taking on gigs. I'm still doing. Yeah, exactly. I'm still doing this podcast. I'm still doing things, but like I'm always like having this weird anxious feeling. And like at first I didn't know what it was because I was like, fuck, dude, I just feel anxious all the time. And now I'm like, oh, it's just because like,
I want to be a dad.
You know, yeah, it's because like this big life change is coming, and so like. I mean, it's not like I've read any books or anything like to prepare for this. No, which I mean, there was books that I wanted to kind of read, and it's funny because my best friend's Rafa, we had like a co-ed baby shower, and I had never even been to a baby shower prior to this. Okay. But it was funny because like all my guy friends came and everything, and it was like instead of bringing I forget what it was, we told everybody to bring us books for the baby.
Okay.
Like, and not like your typical, like, don't just bring us Dr. Seuss. Bring us something that you think that we would like or that you would like, if it's nature or whatever.
Yeah.
But my friend got, he got like our baby a book. I forget what it was, the name of it was, but then he got like a book for me, and it was like, it was something like How to Be a Great Dad with Your Daughter or something like that. But it was just like funny stuff like that. But honestly, it's just, like I'm saying, it's like a weird anxious feeling, but at the same time, like I'm
when
ready.
When you found out, were you nervous? Were you scared?
I was just like this. What?
You're like, nah.
I was like, are you sure? And she was like, yeah, I took 2 tests. I was like, really? And she was like, yeah. I'm like, okay. Like that. And she was like, I thought you were going to be more happy. I was like, I'm just trying to process what's happening.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't planned, but it was like, I'm
If it happens,
30.
it happens.
Yeah, exactly. Like we're
Yeah.
30. Like I'm ready.
Yeah, because that's your guys' both first kid.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's like I was ready. Like we're ready, but it's just like I'm kind of. It's funny for having a podcast and everything. I am an awkward dude in the sense of I can be socially awkward. You know what I mean? Every now and then. I think everybody can, honestly. Like, especially it's like,
varies.
it'd be one thing if you're with your homies and you're somewhere, you're more outgoing and everything. But you're in a crowd and you're by yourself, it's like, okay, you're going to be more reserved. You're not going to be fucking
Bro, I'm the opposite.
Really?
Because I have badass social anxiety, right? My thing is, I get uncomfortable in, like, intimate groups. Like, if it was the 4 of us, 5 of us talking, right, and we're just sitting here, I'm more awkward and I feel more mentally uncomfortable as opposed to me at a festival by myself meeting people.
Really?
I rather meet people because it's like you don't know me.
It depends on the vibe, I guess. Because sometimes in social settings, I will be more outgoing, and then other times, I'll just be like, all right, like because I shoot events for like videography and stuff, and sometimes it's just like I don't know anybody there, but I'm actually having a good time talking to everybody.
Yeah.
Another time I'm like. It'll be somewhere maybe I've shot before, but I'm like, I just don't feel like being, like going up to people and telling them, hey, can you do a shot for me? Hey, can you do this for me? You know what I mean? So it's honestly like up and down varies.
Yeah, like bro, like I hate when my social battery runs out at the wrong time. Like I'll be like just mentally not there. Like I shot a pod a couple weeks ago, and I was just not there, bro. Like
I've had those.
Like I did it, and like you got to turn it on. You know what I mean? And then. After, like, I was just like, fuck, dude, I'm fucking tired, bro.
I mean, you do research on people. Sometimes I'm doing research 10 minutes before the person gets here. I'm like, what are we going to fucking...
Bro,
what are we going to fucking talk about right now? I got to figure it out. I'm like, Colin Duffy, you think of anything? He was like, I didn't think of anything. I'm like, oh, cool. I'm a fucking...
Dude, you know what's funny? The last pod I did, or was it like 2 pods ago? 2 pods ago, I... did my research on the way. I had him drive my car.
Sometimes it happens, dude.
Yeah, and tell me why. The guy was like, bro, you brought up some fucking crazy points that I've wanted to talk about, like just some old shit. You know what I mean? He's like, bro, that was a great interview. And then me and her look at each other. I was like, that's a dub.
Yeah,
dude. But because I feel like that's what makes a good interview, right? Like, and of course I could not know a single thing about Micah, and I could just sit you down right here. But it's like I'm only gonna get a whole bunch of blanket questions. You know what I mean? But if there's different talking points or like stuff, it's also a good for the viewer, right? And it also is like, okay, this kid actually did his research.
Yeah, you kind of respect the person who's interviewing you as well. And like, that's the thing. Like I always go into people. It's like maybe I haven't researched them crazy amount, but it's like. I've also obviously done my homework on Instagram at the very least. You know what I mean? Okay. Where it's like I went 6 months back, and you know at least some. It's like you want to show the person that like you're interested in them. Yeah. But then sometimes I would have like musical artists come on that would like be like, well, what song do you want me to play? Or like what? It's like hey, like I just. I think you're talented. I didn't fucking like don't know your songs by heart though. You know what I mean? Like so it's like a mixture.
I'm all. Like, for me, I'm also curious, like, some of your recent ones, you just sit there, right? Like, because you know how it's like this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, do you just remember all your shit off the rip?
Oh, like, because I don't have my computer up or anything? Yeah. I mean, that kind of took over time because, I mean, the first 60, 70 episodes, I had my computer up with a list of questions.
I know you have that. You have it like right there. I like this because it's more subtle.
Yeah. It's not like it's not like in the way. And it's just me making the list, and then I'll have my laptop on the side of me if I really needed to bring it out. Yeah. But like most of the time, it's just kind of like the guests I've been getting on are very good at like just keeping the conversation going, so I don't have to like reach back into
so much
it.
more,
but I kind of just type in the questions. and then that kind of just puts them in my head. And then that way, if I really don't know what to talk about, but that's why I like having Duffy or somebody else on a mic, like off camera, so they can be like if you're saying something and he connects with it off camera, he'll say something, and then there's a little conversation, like a 3-person dialogue going on.
I would love to have one of these fools mic'd up. Like that would be funny as shit. Like, I don't know about this fool. Nah,
why not,
bro?
He's got Rolling Stones North America tour shirt on, bro.
Bro,
I mean, Hellcat has a name that you'd want on it. It's like, oh, this is Hellcat on the fucking. There's a Hellcat on the mic over there looking up stuff for us. Facts. Hey, Hellcat, can you look that up for me? Like Jamie.
What? Nah. He's all mad. Bro, he throws everything down. I'm fucking tired. I quit. Nah, but no. So, like for me, I'm thankful, right? Like it's awesome that you like are able to like
we're like dishing back and forth.
I've only looked at this a couple times to like bring up numbers, right?
Yeah.
But like I don't know how you do yours, but this is how I do.
Okay, let me look.
Yeah, so I have a question, a blanket question, and then have sub questions under that.
Like almost topics, yeah.
Yeah, like so sponsors, and then like different things within sponsors, and there was so much more, but I've just been. Like, bro, I went to sleep at like 7:30 this morning, bro. That's why.
Yeah, he told me like he just woke up at 12 or something like that.
Yeah, when he called me, I was like, fuck. I was like, hello.
Damn.
So there's so much more.
Sorry, I'm laughing at the chicken Burka Burke.
Burka Burke. What the fuck is that, bro?
Dude, it's nothing. Bro, basically, me and my buddies would. We'd get high in a garage and we used to all freestyle rap when we were like 18 to 21 basically. And then like with that we'd just like make up like or categories like rap about cats, rap about dogs or shit like that. And then one of them was like rap about chickens and then like and like me and my buddy didn't hear rap about chickens, we just heard rap like chickens. And so we just like were like just freestyling like like just acting like we're fucking chickens. And then we like, dude, we would take it to the point like we made a fucking video of ourselves recording ourselves. Yeah, it's just ridiculous shit. It's just like shit with your boys, honestly. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna put that shit up, bro.
And it's funny because you have starting a YouTube channel in 2021 here, and like I actually just recently recorded like another YouTube video for the first time since I started. Like, there's no YouTube. Oh, there might be 1 or 2 YouTube videos in between from when I started the podcast to now, but I want to go back to because I like. There's a lot of I mean I do similar to this like subcategories and then questions based on what them those.
Because did you do his name was James, right? The first guy you did?
Yeah, so but my buddy Jimmy,
Oh, Jimmy.
But I mean James is his technical name, yeah.
Did you do those both the same? Did you shoot those the same day? Because his first was really bright and stuff like that, and then when you did with Lindsay, it was all dark and moody.
No, it was different, but it was just nighttime. That's all it was.
Okay, because those
so
were
like the light was coming through the window, and then the other one it was like it wasn't the light wasn't. We did it at nighttime. Yeah.
Because you posted those the same day, so I wasn't sure.
So I posted 5 of them or something like that the same day. So I just banked them, and then I kind of thought about what I wanted to do, and then I created like this whole tagline and everything. Like, this is a podcast about the talented individuals who live in Central Valley, California, as well as people who are passionate about what they do. Yeah, that whole thing. Like now it's like I'm kind of going back to my roots of like I fell in love with photo and video, and then I started the podcast, and the podcast became something that more than I could ever hope it would be, in my personal opinion. And now it's kind of like I want to go back to my roots about doing things with photo and video and doing like I want to do YouTube videos where it's like maybe it's podcast type subjects, but it's like me doing a cinematic video and relating to it and different
like
things
some
like that.
So it's like a whole bunch of B-roll and then you're just audio.
No. So it's kind of like I want to do like short cinematic sequences, basically, we'll say, and like I have one where it's me talking about how I always watch cinematic videos online. I enjoy them, yet I never find time to make one myself. And so here's me making pickles, and it's a video of me like going through my garden, picking my cucumbers and making pickles out of them. And it's like a 2-minute thing. Yeah. But then from there, I want to talk about, I don't know, X, Y, and Z. You know what I mean? So I have the cinematic portion done, but it's just like I want to start doing things that more inspire me and the things that I consume a lot, and transition my stuff to that. So same thing, like next season, what I want to do is like whenever I have my clip in the beginning of the podcast and it's about, say it's about somebody talking about agriculture or something like that, I want to make like a cinematic video that's telling that story. Like, I don't know, like using my cinematic things that I've learned and doing that type of stuff with it.
Oh, because like the Lindsay one where she was running. Remember the Nike?
Yeah, exactly.
Something like that.
Yeah, exactly. But with like, imagine like a 4 minutes of talking afterwards about something, but just like that.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like I watch this guy called Danny Gevirtz. He's like one of my favorite YouTube directors. He just made a feature film and everything. There's like Gabe knows Peter McKinnon, fucking Maddie Hapoya, all these people. It's like I want to do videos that are, and you know who Jake Frew is, Gabe? Yeah, I want to do like videos where it's like a cinematic story and then what you can learn from it, basically. But it's like I stopped doing that and I put all my energy towards the podcast. And that was good for so long, but like recently it's like I've been like...
Yeah, because like for him, he's Sony, right? And I don't know, because like the guy in the front right there, he's a Canon guy, right? And then he gave me the comparison, which I'm like a baby in this fucking shit. Like I don't really know much, right? But he's like, bruh, like Canon and... this are like this, like the iPhone and Android, and he's like, Sony's like the Android. I was like, bro, hey, no fucking fuck.
Well, what I think is that they both do the same thing. They both literally do the same thing. They both have different color profiles, and they have their pluses and their minuses. But at the end of the day, if you buy a mirrorless Sony and a mirrorless Canon, it's not about the camera you have, it's about how you can use it. Yeah, like, that's really what it is.
And
like,
that was another reason I took a fucking break, right? And then that guy in the front, actually, because I had him on the pod, he like kind of like put like a fire under me, right? Because he was originally I wanted to do it like, oh, you don't need much, you just need to do it, right? Like you don't need a lot, this and that. Because something Gabe's told me, it's like it doesn't matter the gear, it matters the story, blah blah blah. Right?
Yeah.
So I was like, I lost sight of that, huh?
What you mean, blah blah blah?
What? Hey, shut up!
Interrupting the fuck you,
bruh. So I was like, okay, I got so caught up with, especially around him, because he has so much like
gear and things.
nice shit.
Yeah.
That I was like, fuck, I need that, right?
Yeah, you don't though,
right?
Yeah.
So I was like, I need the lights, I need the camera, I need this, I need that, and then the guy over there, he was like, bro, like you're losing sight of what you originally wanted to do, right? Like you wanted to show people you don't need much, right?
Yeah.
So then I was like, fuck it. So I used what I got. But then luckily, the way everything happened was I got these lights on Facebook Marketplace, which is a godsend.
Dude, Facebook Marketplace is a shit.
Right?
I love Facebook.
I didn't even know this. He told me, he's like, bro, I get some of my gear there. And I was
I bought like 3 of my lenses and my camera I used to use all the time, all through Facebook Marketplace. Like,
yeah.
It's a shit, bro.
So that's why I was like, bro, all right, bet, bro. Like, just relax, slow down. And that's my problem. Like, that's just something
You kind of want to go full speed at it already.
Yeah. And that's what I was saying, like, about the parallels between you and I, that you're like, oh, I never really found something I was interested or passionate in, or like you would give up on it. Like,
yeah, try something 15 minutes, give up on it. Yeah.
And for me, that's how, like, this is like the first time in my life that I've been like actually passionate about something, because I've never had passions. I don't have hobbies. I did sports all of my life, but I only did it because I was good at it. I did wrestling.
And you do it in high school. You don't do like, it doesn't carry on later on.
Yeah, bro. I'm 5'6", bro. I'm not going to NFL. Bro, be for real. I did wrestling for a long time, but it's like, who's really a professional wrestler?
Yeah, you can only go so far.
You can go to the Olympics, but I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. So that's why when all of this came up, I was just like, bro, I love this. I'm going to put my all into this. And here I am. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I was gonna tell you something. The fuck was I gonna tell you? Oh, you know what I did like? I liked your post graduation blues video.
Oh, really, dude?
I fucking liked that.
So that
video.
was before I knew anything that I would say I know now about a videography.
Really?
Like I didn't know, like, that was this little Canon camera that takes AA batteries, and I shot everything on that.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. And I stole video from online and shit though. Like,
yeah.
I stole like national park like drone footage, and I don't know.
You didn't take those?
No, I just YouTube ripped. I mean, some of it I did take, and some of it I didn't take. And so I YouTube ripped some of it, yeah. But it's just like, at the time it was just like, how can I make something that I'm proud of or whatever? And that's like, I feel like a feeling that a lot of people get. So either they graduate college or they don't. By the time you turn, like, your age, 22, 23, 24, you start asking, like, oh, wait, what the fuck do I want to do in this life? Like, what do I want to have, like, you want to have some type of control over something, you know what I mean? Or at least feel like you're giving something to society.
Yeah, and that's why, like, you know what's funny?
Do you see about the Western that I've done, or no?
Yeah, that one was
okay,
cool.
yeah, that was dope, right?
That
Yeah.
one was cool, too. I was, So you know what's funny? I did shrooms, right? I did shrooms.
Big fan of them.
Like right before. I've only done it once, right? And that was the only time I fucking needed, right? I did it, bro. That shit changed my life, bro.
How much did you take?
I don't even know. I just
Like a half eighth probably or something?
maybe I don't know.
Was it like a gummy or something, or was it just shrooms?
No, it was
Chocolate bar?
no, it was like a chocolate. Think of like the bottom of a cone.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was a chocolate cone, but then it had a waffle around it. So it was like a waffle cone, but like the bottom of like a thing.
Yeah.
It took that. I think it said a gram. It wasn't a lot.
Yeah. So like almost half an eighth or something. Yeah.
Yeah. So that just fucking it was like it puts so much things into perspective, and it
makes you analyze yourself and stuff.
Yeah, but and in tenfold because I'm already over analytical on everything. Like I worry about what if they're okay, if they feel taken care of, if I'm doing the right thing. I'm always like just analyzing. So then that just fucking catapulted me. I was like, right? And that was another reason that's when I started the Epiphany podcast, right? Because I wanted the guy that I had on, he made me have so many realizations, and he helped me, not him, but like his content helped me through like my depression and anxiety, right? And I wanted to do the same thing, right? And I wanted people to have an epiphany when they watch my content, right? So Micah, right? Obviously, I have my own podcast, but maybe some other kid wanted to do a podcast, but you resonate better with him, right? And it's just like, I had an epiphany. It's like, dude, this is exactly what I wanted to do. This guy's literally doing everything I've always wanted to do. And that's another reason I'm so critical about who I want on, because it's like, how is someone supposed to have some grand realization and epiphany with some person that doesn't really give a fuck about whatever they're doing?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, but that was another reason for my rebrand, because at first it was J Creates, right? Or no, actually it was JV Vlogs, because my name's George Valencia. Yeah. So it would have been like George, and then like
Yeah, I got
so I did that, and then Gabe told me, he was like, okay, you need a brand. No, you need a name that's brandable, right?
Yeah.
Like it can stand on its own, right? So I was like, fuck. So I just put J Creates as a placeholder, because it can be like J Creates Productions or whatever the fuck. Yeah. But then I started to realize, once I started doing all this, I was like, bro, this thing's not even about me. I'm just a vessel, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So that's why I was like, okay, the Epiphany podcast. And I was like, bro, Epiphany podcast, Epiphany Productions, like this can stand on its own. That's why I changed my thing from J Creates to Epiphany podcast, right? Because I also want, like, you know what also sucks is I want to have my own Instagram for George Valencia, but some guy has just George Valencia.
Oh, really? Well, I'm the dude who has Micah Diele, but it's my old Instagram account that I can't log back into, so I can't fucking. Yeah, exactly. It's annoying. And then but at this point, it's like I have Central Valley Production and I have Central Valley Podcast, and I don't want to fucking do another Instagram account that's Mike Diele. You know what I mean? Like, it's like too many, and so that's why I kind of like. I was very self-conscious when I first like broke 10,000 followers and everything. I was like, oh shit, like kind of like everyone's following it because it's Central Valley Podcast, because it's me, you know what I mean? But you go to my page, and like when you click on Central Valley Podcast, it goes to Micah Diele, like, and so I just started like, saying fuck it, like it's me here, so I'm gonna post. I do post my photos and stuff sometimes. I don't do it all the time, but I just I just don't want people to like think it's not me. I want me to be part of the brand versus it to be Central Valley Podcast with the host. You know what I mean? So I'd rather have it be like
okay, that's cool.
Yeah, and that's why I still post like my wife doing stuff, or me and my dogs or whatever, because it's like I'm like, listen, if you don't want to follow me, I'd rather have you not fucking follow me. Like I'd rather have you like and like every single day it's like I can go into it like, oh, 70 people followed me, 20 people unfollowed me or whatever. And it'd be like,
dude, it's all over the place.
Dude, I
don't know if that's the same for you, bro. My shit would be
mine, sometimes it'll be like, 30 people unfollowed you. And I'm like, oh, fuck.
Mine will be like 100 people unfollow me, 200. And then next thing I know, I'll get like a couple hundred after I post a reel.
But like what I really like about my thing is like right now it's like 95,000 accounts for each in the past 30 days or whatever. And it's like, dude, like the lowest it's gotten in the past like 6 months is like 50,000. And I'm like,
oh, bro, that's dope.
Dude, yeah, and it's cool because it's like, and in reality, it's like you get a couple videos that do good, and it's like they're gonna like
that helps,
dude. And like I literally have this one video of like me showing corn in the gutter, and it was growing, and like it got like 30,000 views when I posted it, and then I just like whatever, time goes by, and then like a week ago, it started getting shown again, and it went up to like 80,000 views.
Yeah.
And it's so funny how like social media
That's what's
works.
dope because your reels like hit so well, but also you have to keep in mind that the algorithm, it's like the more you post, the better it'll push.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
And sometimes like I'll post a cinematic thing, and it'll do shit comparatively.
Really?
Well, it just you never know, dude.
Yeah.
And then other times I'll do something cinematic, and it'll get fucking views. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's like trying not to let that affect you thinking about what you should post and not post and everything.
Yeah.
And that's why I started just doing. I have been doing more cinematic stuff just because like I don't want it to be just podcast stuff. Like I do own and do Central Valley Podcast, but that's not who I am. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I am Micah Diele, and I do Central Valley Podcast, and I am Micah Diele, and I do Central Valley Production.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I'm Micah, and I'm not Central Valley Podcast, and I'm not Central Valley Production. And that's something
interesting.
that I want people to understand at the end of the day. When you follow me, yes, you are following the podcast, and yes, you're following my content that I do post that you might laugh at, but also you're going to see my wife, you're going to see my dogs, you're going to see my daughter, you're going to see like, and that's the thing. It's like, do what you want and what makes you happy. Because at the end of the day, that's all that matters. Like, yes, we get into views and we get into things and we overthink things, but at the end of the day, it's like, and I'm telling this to myself, dude. You gotta be happy with who you are.
Yeah.
Because there's so many times. Go ahead, take a bite of your fucking.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. You might as well do it.
I was like,
This camera's just getting your hand into the little bit of fucking carne asada that's
fucking
on
hungry,
it.
bro.
No, I know. You should have finished it before we really started.
30? Hold on, everybody. I'm eating my tacos. So what I want to, we were talking about the Instagram and okay. For me, I want to make another Instagram because I want it to be more intimate for like family, friends, post my family, post like, you know, all that stuff. Because like what I wanted for this was I wanted to be able to, the podcast to stand on its own, right? Like for barbers, for example, when they're like talking about how much they charge all the fucking time, it's like, bro, can your haircuts not stand on their own, right? So for me, I was like, I want my podcast, take me away. Like, let's say, just for shits and giggles, right? 20 years down the road, it's a JRE type level, right? And and let's say I sell it, right? Because it's not me, right? It's the Epiphany podcast, right? If I sell it, it can stand on its own. It's the Epiphany podcast, right? And obviously, I have my gym content on there, shit like that. But it's like, I wanted it to stand on its own because what I've found, maybe it's because I'm younger and it's like your age is more mature, people and stuff like that. But like this space is so toxic. It can be. Social media can be so toxic.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know, so I was like, I want to be able to post like when I have kids and this and that, but it's not tens of thousands of fucking people looking at my social, like my personal life.
Yeah, I feel you.
You know what I mean? Because like on Snapchat, for example, we're pushing average about almost 200K views on there, right? And that's pretty decent. That's
a lot.
Yeah. So that anytime I post something there, it's like, everyone's there. So it's like I've been in past relationships where it's like I post them, fucking thousands of people follow them, and then they're like, whoa, I didn't want this. Like this is I'm not into the social media shit. I'm dating you. Type shit. You know what I mean? So that's where I want to have some sort of like separation.
Yeah.
For me personally.
No,
you know
I totally get that. And maybe mine will change. You know what I mean? When my
especially having a daughter.
Yeah, having a daughter and everything. But yeah, at the same time, it's like, I don't know.
You have but you also have a healthy ass fan base, I feel.
I mean, I don't know. It's like a very organic where people kind of know what they're doing, and if they don't, my whole thing is like, if you don't want to see my daughter, you don't want to see me and my wife or whatever, just unfollow me. I don't really
if you don't
care.
like it, then unfollow.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm cool with that because it's just, to me, it's like just another headache trying to fucking make a new page, add everyone again. I'm like, whatever. Like, really, I at this point for me, it's just like I have 2 Instagram accounts. I don't want to make it 3 Instagram accounts. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, fuck it. Like, whatever. That'll be good enough.
Yeah, that's a total of like fucking 3 times.
Yeah, exactly. So imagine like, and it's like I never even post on my like production page, or hardly. Like I started recently, but it's just like, it's like hard. You know what I mean? And it's like I only want to do that because like my production page is. I just want to grow that because that's what's bringing me the money. You know what I mean? At the moment, like it's kind of like I grew the podcast page more than I ever thought I would, and so now it's like I'm like, all right, well that's cool. That one's already built. now let me kind of focus on building this
Well, like you
one.
said, doesn't that? Do you feel that kind of carries your photography career?
Oh yeah, like I was saying, like people hire me sometimes just
Yeah.
because they like my personality, not even that they know my work. You know what I mean? Which is
A check to check.
yeah, exactly. And it works out with me because like I'm confident in my skills enough to get hired by somebody to do whatever it is. And like we were saying, niching down, it's like I never niche down with my photography, videography. So it's like I can do commercial work, I can do real estate, I can do music videos, I can do
Yeah. When did you start that? Because like, when did you say fuck this, fuck the subbing and?
2019. So I saw a video online that said like make a video about your dream job. And so I did that one, and then so me and my buddy Jimmy linked up, and he filmed the whole thing, and it was like kind of like me
Is that out there somewhere?
directing it. Yeah, dude, it's a really good video actually.
Is it?
Yeah, it's
With
on
the,
our
with the state parks and stuff.
yeah, exactly. It's just on Jimmy's Instagram channel. I'm not Instagram, and Jimmy's
You're gonna have to show
old
it to
YouTube.
me.
Yeah, we do it after this. Yeah. But it's like that's kind of the marker where I was just like all my life I pretended to be something else. I wanted to do things that everyone else like what I thought they wanted me to be, and at the end of the day I just want to do something. And at that time it was like, oh, I want to make a TV show about like the world's greatest outdoor adventures or something like that. But in turn,
That has the potential. To
well,
be
in turn, that
something great.
video allowed me to think about, wait, what do I want to do? And I tried to do that for a while, and we didn't do that, and then we ended up just doing something where it was just like, we did try that for a while, and then we just were like, all right, how do we make this full time? And then basically, fast forward to year 2022 was like, and February hit, and I was
How did you figure all that stuff out?
just slowly.
Really?
Just like, I mean, during the pandemic, every day, me and Jimmy met up, and we just learned stuff. And it was just like double downing on myself during the pandemic on like learning things. And then 2020 happened. We had like maybe a couple gigs. 2021 happened. Still was subbing, doing a couple gigs. I mean, I think I made like $10,000 that year from photography or something, which was like, I was like, oh wow, like that's an extra 10,000. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then 2022 hit, and like I made, I mean, gross, I didn't make that much, but like, or what, I don't know, whatever. My net wasn't that
Net.
much. But gross was like, I made like 65,000, you know what I mean? I was like, oh shit, like this is like my first year doing it full time, or like from February to the end of the year. And so this is my second year, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's just volatility. Sometimes it's like, you'll have weeks where you're booked all week, and then you have 3 weeks where you have nothing going on, and like it's just like
Because do you even have a lot of overhead? Because it looks like you're a one man band.
I am a one man band, but like my overhead like of every month is $1,500. So you would think that it's not that much, but it's like
Fuck that, $1,500 is a lot of money.
I mean, but yeah, exactly. But you think, okay, rent's like $750, $800, and then phone bill. I mean, it's me and my wife, but it's a write off. It's like $200, and then it's all my subscriptions to things is another $200, and then it's like, all right, I there's like so many little things that add up.
Yeah.
Internet, like little things like that, and that's why I ended up being 15. Like, so I have to make $1,500 a month, and that's breaking even.
Yeah.
And then I'll do stuff where like I won't have clients pay me kind of like whenever the projects gets finished sometimes, or before sometimes, but sometimes it's like, all right, I'm waiting on 6 people to pay me, and I have barely broken even the past 2 months. You know what I mean? But then it's like, but I might have a $10,000 month this month because everyone's paying me this month.
Okay.
So it's like, it's one of those things where it's just kind of like managing your expectations with everything.
No, that makes sense. How about your studio? How'd you land that?
It was just like a piece of shit when we first looked at it.
Or what is it like?
Is
Is it like something like this where it's like a building within a?
No. So it's like its own room, but it's like apartments upstairs, and then businesses downstairs, and then it's just like when we moved in, there was green carpet everywhere. It was disgusting, like carpet underneath the toilet and shit, dude. Yeah. And then we redid every single lime green walls. We redid every single thing on it, and so we spent $2,000 revamping it to be what it is now. And so now it's cool, but like it didn't used to be cool, and it's not in the best neighborhood. I tell people, like, if you think you're in the wrong spot, you're here. And so, but it was like a slow process of like me and my 2 buddies like redoing it, and it took 2 months to redo it, and we weren't even doing podcasts in those 2 months. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's just like Like, yeah, we have our own studio and our own space. That's not the fucking most luxurious. Like, it looks nice on camera. Everyone thinks like, oh man, on camera, I thought you had like a super
That's what
good
matters,
setup.
though.
Yeah, exactly. And
That's
like
what
people think
matters.
our room's hella big. Like, our room is half the size of this for our podcast.
Shut up.
Dude, I'm dead serious. But you throw a wide angle lens on it, what the fuck ever. Yeah,
Fuck it,
exactly. So it's all like people think it's bigger than it is, or people think it's nicer than it is, and that's okay. I'd rather have people think that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, you know
What,
what I
what
mean?
made you realize you needed a studio? What was wrong with your house?
Oh no! It just opportunity became available. It wasn't that like I wasn't gonna move it. It was just that my buddy found this one. The rent was dumb cheap. Split it 3 ways was good, and then he ended up not staying there. But so we're splitting it 2 ways. But like I'm saying, it's like $700 a month. So it's not. You split it 2 ways.
Yeah.
that's not too bad.
That's like the exact. That's funny. That's the exact same thing that came up with.
Yeah.
Like, we were doing that at my grandma's house. My grandma's house, like my grandma's front room is like ballpark, like the front. Right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
It's pretty spacious, right? We were chilling there. The production value was cool. You know what I mean? Yeah, we just closed the blinds so we can have like a controlled environment, right? But there was nothing wrong there. And then the guy right there, he was like, "Hey man, like you want to do like a studio like in this room?" You know what I mean? And then we like figured out a deal, and then the owner of like the actual stuff, bro, it's like $20 a fucking pod. Yeah, because the whole point was like him just wanting to help me.
Yeah, but you can't be that.
No,
yeah.
no. So I was like, okay, I was doing perfectly fine, and I was in a bigger space, so we had more room to move around at my grandma's house. Why would I come here, right?
Because it's like you go here now, and it's like, all right, this is my creative space or whatever.
Yeah. So
it's like that going to work aspect of it versus being at home. It's like, all right, now I gotta go to work to the studio. You know what I mean?
it is. Yeah, don't get me wrong. It is 100% nicer, but that's why. Also, too, I have my own expenses. You know what I mean? And then slowly working to like get everyone else here paid. You know, it's like, fuck. Okay, why? I'm not gonna do this if it's gonna jeopardize paying my team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that's something I'm fucking working on right now to like to pay them, because all of them taking a fat ass pay cut just helping me. But it's like one of those things that's like you'll reap the reward later type shit. You know? Ain't no way. Get out of here, fool.
Was Gabe guest number 1?
No, Gabe was, bro. I didn't get Gabe on until like 2 episodes ago. He hasn't wanted to, bro. Like literally, I've asked him, and then he'll just like dodge it. I swear to God. And then I caught him slipping. One time he came over to look over the studio at my grandma's house, like the whole setup, and then he's never sat down and like checked all the gear out. So then he sat him down like this, and then we just started talking. And then I didn't tell him. I just and I just pressed record, and we started talking. It's like, yeah.
You like snuck his podcast virginity, man. You just stole it from him.
Yeah, literally, bro.
Just raped.
yo, no.
You can't just be raping people's podcast virginity, man.
Nah, what, bro? Hey, look, I had him hit him with the Cosby, bro. I had to say either.
I hit him with the Cosby.
I had to.
He had to know.
Look, bro. Either we're recording or I'm recording. All right.
Those are the. Remember when you'd be able to used to say rape? Now people are all like all freaking out. It's like saying gay.
Bro.
It's like, bro, some shit's just gay. I don't know what to tell you guys.
No, wait. You're gay. Is it the 30 or something?
Don't ever fuck up again. I'm just kidding.
Bro, you know what's funny, bro?
Hey, you keep doing that shit, he's gonna put us 2 weeks in.
Hey, it's not my book. I'm just kidding. He just comes work for me.
But imagine, bro.
I just steal your whole team. I'm like, you guys want to work on a podcast? Just kidding.
Fuck, like you guys want to work on an actual established podcast? Yeah, not this shitty ass shit. Come on, bro. Come on. I fuck with him. I'm like, hey, come over to the winning
He's
side,
like, oh, I'm
bro.
actually just got hired.
Hey, this is their way of telling me.
I'll pay you an exposure. That type of shit. He already does that.
Fuck. Bro. That's fucked. Shout out Gabe though. Gabe takes a fucking
Shout out Gabe.
Yeah, he takes a lot from just fucking working with me. But shout that fool out. We're gonna get that full car in a couple years. I told him. That's my thing. I was like, bro, in a couple years, mark my words, I'm gonna make a video because it's still a YouTube channel. Like, I got my editor a car. I don't know what kind of fucking cars he likes, but I'm gonna figure it out. Buy him a little Tessie or something.
Yeah, a cool 50K Tessie.
Something light.
Get a Model 3 for like 24.
No, but a new one though. Not a some cab.
Oh, actually,
He works at Tesla.
I worked there. I can tell you.
But there.
Where you look at Tesla at?
At the Model Y.
In Tracy or where?
Oh, Fremont.
Fremont. Okay, my buddy works at Tesla in Tracy.
Okay.
How does that look on there? Are we like both in frame and everything's cool?
Yeah.
Bet. Sick. But you know what's funny? The more I'm doing these, I'm kind of like, I'm taking after your model a little bit. Like I was just telling you, like, oh, I'm so worried about like it being taken serious and this and that. It was like, I'm slowly just relax, bro. Like, it's not it's not that fucking deep.
Yeah, and like, how many people are listening? Like, I think about that about my own podcast. Like, have a good time yourself while you're there in it, and that's all you can really ask for. And then, yeah, people are gonna like it, or they're not gonna like it, or they're gonna listen to it, and maybe it's not the right podcast for them or whatever. But that's okay.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, it's just needs to bring value to you. Honestly, in the beginning, more than it needs to bring value to anybody else. Like, if you're enjoying it, if you're feeling like you're growing as a person, then that's a good thing. If you're not feeling that way, then maybe
maybe you're doing something wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I mean, also though, like you said, like when you take your breaks, sometimes you get more downloads, right?
Yeah.
So my thing is like, yeah, okay, no one may be looking at this now, but especially with my generation and cancel culture, bro, it's fucking real. So that's what I was saying. Like, you know, for example, the smoking, right?
Yeah.
It's like, or we say some out of pocket shit right now, right? This is fine, right? But then there's always that one motherfucker that will be 3 years down the road, fine, and then they pull up, oh, from this video back in 2020.
Oh, dude, they could cancel me on shit I've done on my podcast. I don't even know what I've said in half the shit on my podcast.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
But like, dude, you don't have to worry about that stuff. Like, dude, I hope
you say that till it happens.
No,
bro.
I hope that happens because guess
What
what?
the fuck?
Dude, any publicity is good publicity. Really.
That's true.
And like,
That's
let's
true.
say a video pops up and it's like, I don't know, like me saying the whole rape thing or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like,
Micah
it's not like I was
Diele
saying
says
like,
rape is okay.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like I was saying, hey, like the rape is okay. I was just saying, like it. With my
make
boys,
the context,
you know what
bro,
I
make
mean?
the
I
context.
was saying it with my boys, like I don't even know what
Man
the
starts
scenario.
sweating. He's like, wait, no.
A sweat drop right here. No, but what I'm saying is like, to me, it's like, I mean, really, if you're gonna go through all that things, like I make fucking bad jokes all the time on my podcast.
Yeah.
But I do it for the fact that whatever, dude, like it's my podcast and like there's like 500 people listening or however many people listening. Like at the end of the day, like it's not like I'm changing society or I'm changing all this stuff. It's like I'm trying to make it not yet, but I'm trying to make an impact in my own community. So if people can listen to my podcast, relate to it, laugh about the shit that's happening in the area. And think, oh, it's not as bad. Maybe like if all I'm changing is that kids nowadays don't think it's as bad as like when we were like growing up in high school or whatever. That's all I can ask for. Like, I just want to show people like, hey, it's not as bad as you think it is. Like, yeah, maybe there's not the most to do. It's not the best party place. It's not the best. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But also, I mean, I would argue it's a good place to raise a family. I would argue that it is.
You
like,
say Merced is a good place to raise a family.
I mean, we're the number one murder capital in the world right now. We're number one murder capital in the state. All right, Merced County, number one, murdering people, number one in something. You gotta be proud of it, you guys. Okay.
Wait, so it's not Fresno no more?
No, it's Merced right now. But
damn, bro,
I mean,
you know what's funny?
It's switching to Stockton or Fresno within the next couple months. Let's be real here.
Literally, bro.
Yeah. But no, I mean, at the end of the day, though, it's not like I'm not seeing murder everywhere. I've never seen anybody get murdered. You know what I mean? I don't know anybody that's gotten murdered. Like, it's not as bad as everyone's making it out to be. It's like any big city. There's horrible shit going on, too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like Frisco's way worse, bro.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Especially with the homeless, bro. I'm like, what
bro,
the...
you're getting your shit bashed in. Like, your windows bashed in.
Yeah, exactly. Bro. I stopped going to Frisco because of that reason. Because, like, I don't want to take all my fucking gear with me and get robbed.
Right, bro? Fuck that. Because I know, like, I was laughing because it's funny you say that. You popped in my head on my last episode because I was talking to some girl about, like, moving. If she ever wanted to move. And I was like, oh, what about, like, Merced or, like, Turlock? She's like, Merced's fucking ghetto. I mean, I was like, damn.
Dude, yeah, but the thing is, like, you could say that, but Fresno's ghetto. Modesto's ghetto. Stockton's ghetto. LA's
Defend Merced,
ghetto.
bro. Defend
San
Merced.
Francisco's ghetto. Everywhere has a ghetto. Like you can argue that maybe some places don't, but like any bigger city or just city of 80,000 or more is going to have a side of town that's not the good side of town. And that's what I always tell people. Like there's good areas, there's bad areas. There's good people, there's bad people. And that doesn't just mean Merced. That doesn't just mean Los Banos. It doesn't just mean Modesto, Fresno. It's everywhere. Yeah. Everywhere in the fucking country. So when people say that stuff, it's like, okay, like you're basing it off of one experience that you had there. Like for sure, that's what you're doing. Like, and trust me, it's like I could come to. It's like, or me and him were talking earlier. It's like he's like, you come to Los Banos often? I was like, I mean, when I drive through to go to the beach or something.
Really?
But it's like I don't come to Los Banos.
It's like down the street though.
No, yeah, but it's like I don't come to Los Banos that often. But if I were to just be like Los Banos is just it's just a town you pass by. It's like I could say whatever about Los Banos too. You know what I mean? But it's like me knowing what I know now about stuff. It's just like, dude, like. I appreciate Los Banos for what it is. I appreciate Merced for what it is. Fresno, Modesto, Sacramento, because you don't fucking think you're in the Central Valley, but you are. But
you're not.
Yeah, no, they are.
Bro.
They are. Look at a map geographically. There's fucking mountains all around from Sacramento. Honestly, I would argue from Chico is for sure NorCal, but I would argue that when you're in Chico, California, it fucking feels like you're in fucking
geographer
Merced.
over here. His
Yeah.
inner subs coming out. Geographer, fuck.
Yeah, I could have been a geography teacher.
We hit a trigger word with this guy, bro. Just say Sac's not fucking.
My cousin from Sacramento just visited me the other day, and me and him were like, my wife has a video of me and him arguing. I'm like, Sacramento's a part of the fucking Central Valley. What are you talking about, man?
Bro,
I have hella promos I haven't clipped out of me saying Sacramento's part of the Central Valley because they try to say that they're Bay, which, as you can see, they're 2 hours away from the Bay Area. They're 2 hours away from the Central Valley as well. That's all I'm saying.
What you mean by that?
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
It's all speculation.
It's all relative. It's all relative to what you want to believe. And guess what? In this society, you can just say things and believe it. Right? You can say I'm not going to get into too much stuff here.
I was like, no. I
won't say what I'm going to say, but what I'm saying is you can say stuff that doesn't make sense anymore.
I identify as an iPhone.
Yeah. Exactly. I identify as a water bottle. So right? I am a water bottle now.
Gabe's identifies as Imagine Way More.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be hard.
Gabe identifies as FX3, so.
Those are his pronouns, FX and 3.
Yeah, those are his pronouns, FX and 3.
Okay. Also, a couple more things. A couple more things I want to pick your brain about. Okay. We talked about you and your podcast, right? And then we dabbled a little bit into your videography and stuff like that. What did you? Okay, do you remember your first gig? No, it was like probably forever ago, but
my first gig. Yeah, no, I do. Like my first paid gig was my friend's mom hired me to do photos of them for their grandma's like 90th birthday or something.
Okay.
And so it was my first technical paid gig. And I remember going there, and I didn't even know how to use a flash. I'm trying to figure out how to use a flash. And then I'm taking photos, and dude, I fucking took photos. And the flash was happening, and the grandma was wearing like this sweater, right? But it was literally it was a sweater that like when the flash happened, it like would like be somewhat see-through, and so you could see the grandma's bra in every fucking photo, bro. Yeah. I actually thought about it the other day.
Classic.
Yeah. And so that was my first paid gig. It was $100 for like, me giving them as many photos as I possibly could edit.
How do you base your payment your stuff now?
For video stuff, it's like unless it's like a real estate or something super easy, I'm not doing anything under 500. Like unless it's but I mean if it's like easy real estate. I mean, real estate I'll do for like $350-ish. You know what I mean? I mean, $200 if it's just it depends what it is. But like if it's like an actual video event that you want me to come out, it's like $500 is the absolute minimum. I'm gonna come out for that. But then it's like, and then it just depends from there. Is it like a recurring package? Is it the same thing? I mean, is it like same thing every month? Is it a one-time off video? You know what I mean? It just depends. But my favorite type of work is like documentary style work, like telling someone's story, painting a picture, that type of stuff.
Do you do a lot of weddings or no?
Oh, yeah. Weddings are like, I would say, like, I personally book like 6 weddings a year. So it's not like a crazy amount, but it's enough to be like, I mean, it's over 10,000 of my income.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's a good, significant amount, but it's not like my main thing I do. But at the same time, it's like, I do them because I do weddings, I do commercial work, Yeah, a little bit of everything.
How was your
honestly.
first wedding? Do you remember that?
Oh yeah. And it's
Was
like
it a shit show or no?
And it's just no. It's my first wedding. It's funny because me and my buddy, it was during the pandemic, and we got the gig and we're doing photo and video at the same time, which is like
shit.
I haven't done that since because it's crazy. Really? But yeah, doing both at the same time, it's like almost impossible with two people.
Yeah.
And so we were doing that, but like it's funny because it's like we're hella nervous, and then like we kind of figure out what we're doing, and we get through the day, we get through everything else. It was a COVID wedding, so super low key, like 30 people there
it's
at
not
some
bad.
cabin. You know what I mean? Everyone's staying at the cabin.
Yeah.
And then we just end up spending the night in the cabin too with them. And like by the end of it, like we're drunk in the jacuzzi smoking cigars with like the people
Bro,
whose wedding
that's
it was and stuff.
that's
You know what I mean?
classic.
So it's like it's just funny. Like, yeah, video takes you to so many different areas and makes you learn about all these things. Makes you learn about real estate, about just you name it. Makes you learn about whatever your client wants you to make a video about. It's like, oh, you're going to become an expert on this.
You know who I really admire in the wedding scene? I don't know if you're on TikTok a lot, but the guy, his TikTok's the Porter family.
I don't think I know. If I know
He
him.
does like documentaries, cinema level like weddings. Like
yeah.
like he'll mic everyone up. He does like
He's a black dude or no? Yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about.
that,
Actually,
that dude, and he just like his wife records him obsessing over all his gear.
Yeah. I know exactly who you're talking about. Yeah.
Dude, that fool.
Yeah, I've done another level. I'm not on that level with weddings. I'm like, I have a package where it's just like music only. Like I'm not gonna capture.
What is
any,
your packages entail?
And so one of them is like $2,500. It's I get to pick the music only. I don't capture your vows. I don't capture anything. No speeches. $2,500. Next one's like $3,000, and it's like I'll capture your vows. But you have to read them before the ceremony. And then there's like other ones where it's like if you want me to capture every single speech, every single blah blah, it just adds up.
Like all the bells and whistles.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, most people just want to highlight video of their wedding.
They don't.
I mean, like that guy talks big about how you mic up every single person. I'm like, okay, like yeah, because these people are probably paying you $8,000 to come to their wedding. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's why I'm like, okay, on my side, it's like I'm getting paid like $2,500. I got a second shooter. I got to at least pay $500. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's like really at the end of the day, it's not that like yeah, it's a lot of money, but like it's like 2 months of work in the sense of like it's like the whole day of it's the preparation, you talking to them, and then it's like a week of editing at least.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
How did you learn to like base? Like how did you? Because not just weddings, right? How did you learn to base off all your stuff?
Like edited?
Like no, like to charge. Like
Just slowly, dude.
Yeah.
I'm like started off. The first wedding I did was like I think we did it for like 700, you know what I mean? That was photo and video. It was ridiculous. But then like the next wedding is like, okay, $1,000 for video, and then we do that and we're like, fuck, that was way too cheap. And like, all right, 1,500 for weddings. Like, fuck, that's still too much cheap. 2,000 for weddings was like this, like past your starting price. You know what I mean? Like, that's still too cheap. Like 2,500, and like next year I have 2 weddings booked for like almost $3,500.
Oh, there
for
you
just
go.
video. Yeah. So it's just a slow process of learning, dude. Same thing with everything though. It's just like you're gonna get better as it, but at the same time, it's like Gabe is very good at talking to customers and stuff. You know what I mean? It's like I don't like that. I don't like upselling in the sense of like I will upsell people if I already have like. If I have a $1,500 gig, it's like I can do 10 more reels for you guys for $2,500. They're like, really? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, okay, we'll do that because it seems like you're tripling the amount that you're giving them. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it's like I just don't like going to businesses like kind of cold calling. You know what I mean? Like that type of stuff. Like, hey, you need a video? It's like I'd rather have people like my work, come to me price them. Dude, so many people hit me up. Hey, what will you charge for this? I tell them what I charge, and I don't never hear back from them. Like it's like RIP to all those people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's like whatever.
And you're giving them a fucking steal, and they don't even know.
Yeah, exactly. Or it's like you're coming to me because you like my specific work too. You know what I mean? But it's also like sometimes people don't have the budget for stuff, and you have to get it. But some people don't be like. Sometimes it's like I'll quote somebody $1,000 for like one video. And instead of them being like, "Oh, my budget's $750, what can you do?" They don't even respond. You know what I mean? So
you probably could have.
And it's like, "Hey, man, like I'm willing, like especially if it's like I like your business." You know what I mean? What was I fucking saying about weddings? Sometimes people like they can only afford $750, and instead of telling you, "Hey, my budget's $750, not $1,000, what can you do for it?" They just don't even respond to you. And it is what it is. Like whatever. Like, I get it to a certain extent, but it's just like, I've also had clients where it's like, I'll be doing work for them, and then all of a sudden they start ghosting me. And instead of being like, hey man, I can't afford you anymore, or hey man, like, is there anything we could work out? They just ghost you instead of like having that conversation. And it's like, and that's the thing. It's like, you learn who you want to work with. It's like, I appreciate someone that says, hey man, I really like your work, but right now you're too expensive for me, so I can't afford it. And if someone says that to me, I might be like, hey man, don't worry. For you, since you've been paying me regularly, I'll bring it down to the X amount for you, so you can continue paying. But it's like, some people just like fall off, and I don't know. It is what it is. It's like with this business, it's like you have so many promises that people tell you, like, oh dude, I'm gonna hire you for this all the time, blah blah. And there's so many promises that I don't even take any of them seriously until I actually get booked and get a deposit.
Yeah,
like, because
that makes sense.
Yeah, it's just like, and like, I get it too. It's like, it's expensive to hire somebody. Like,
yeah,
you're trusting them with your business, but at the same time, it's like, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
social media is everything right now.
Literally, that's all I'm saying. Like, it's a fucking resume, bro.
Yeah, it is.
Is your okay? You were saying something about earlier about like a sole prop, right? All right, so is that what you have, a sole?
Yeah, I'm like a sole proprietor, so everything's under one. Like, everything's under my. I have a EIN number, which is like the same as my social security number, basically. But basically, it's like all under Micah Diele. So the worst thing about that is if someone wanted to sue me, they could sue me for everything I own, and that's the bad thing with a sole proprietor. The easy thing is that like Central Valley Podcast, Central Valley Production, and anything else I do is all under one thing. So for taxes, it's easier for me.
Oh.
But for once you get into like an S corp or corporation type status, you're paying $800 a year just to have it. And then like you might get some tax breaks that are different a little bit. But at the end of the day, it's like, for Gabe, it makes sense right now because he's going to hire on other people that are going to be underneath him. So he needs that. So instead of just hiring everybody else as an independent contractor, they're employees. Yeah. But that's good for a certain, like, if you have regular income, like if you're getting X amount regularly, that's good. But for me, since I'm so volatile, where it's like I was saying, I'll break even a couple months and then I'll have a $10,000 month. It's like I can't afford to be like, I'm breaking even and paying this person $700, $750 a month. Like,
that makes sense.
It doesn't make sense.
That's
for
what
me.
I'm trying to work on. Wait, so is it S corp or sole prop? What?
Sole prop.
Okay, yeah. That's what he's helping me figure out right now to get that. You know what I mean? But,
and I think you'll eventually outgrow it. Like Gabe's like, luckily Gabe is so young. I think that like he's doing all this stuff and he's
19.
He's 19. He's at such a young age though, to where like now it's like you gotta like. I wish I was in a video and stuff at the age of 18. You know what I mean? Yeah. But like it's just one of those things where it's like that's why I tell Gabe all the time. I'm like, dude, you're so lucky you're starting now. You know what I mean? Or like you're at where you are now because like I was telling him, I was like, you could fuck up for the next 5 years, and then you'll be at my age when I started. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So it's like, is what it is, but.
Because I always want to ask like people that are like doing all this type of stuff. I'm like, okay, how are they doing it? What if they fucking went?
Yeah. And so for me, everything's under one whole. It's like I think technically it's like Micah Diele Media, just on my bank account. That's what it is. But like at the end of the day, it's.
I know for this, I'm gonna call it like for the S corp, whatever the fuck it was called, sole prop. I'll just probably do like Epiphany Productions.
Yeah, exactly. So
it's not tied to me. You know what I mean? But Micah Diele.
Yes.
Thank you for coming on,
dude,
man.
Thank you, man. It was a blast. We talked a lot.
Hell yeah,
a long time.
Where can everyone find all your stuff, man?
At Central Valley Podcast on Instagram. Type in Central Valley Podcast on YouTube. Central Valley Podcast or Central Valley Production on Instagram as well. Pretty much it. I mean, just go check out my stuff. I appreciate anybody, and I'm just here to talk good about the Central Valley and to change people's opinion on it. Because maybe there's some bad stuff in the area, but it's not as bad as everybody makes it out to be.
Facts, and we're here to change that. If you guys like this episode, make sure to like, comment, and if you're new to the channel, subscribe. With that, I'll see you on the next one. Peace.